We are back with the Primetime Royale, 8 p.m. on Saturdays for you there in YouTube space. We've got an amazing group of guests. One of them has just ran away. Was just about to introduce. But he's on his way back. He's on his way back. There he is. Let me go down the line, introduce these amazing people, and we'll roll on from there. Hello, Kyo-san. Kyo-san, how are you doing today?
Muted. Pro streamer.
My God, pro streamer. Here we go. I'm doing really well. You know why I'm doing really well? I can see the future, right? And the future is everyone here is going to get their assholes blown out, right? And I'm going to be the two-time Prime Royale champion, okay? That's what's happening today. If you don't like it, you can leave right now. Chat, you can leave right now. You don't like it. You don't have a choice in this, right?
You won a second time? I didn't even notice.
It's happening today. That's why, okay?
Okay.
Not to be concerned, but like, what was the roster for your win? I mean,
It was 3 babies and a 17-year-old.
a small fish in an even smaller puddle.
Oh man, I'm loving it already. Okay, next we have. Hey, it's Vadim. Hey, Vadim. How are you doing today?
That's me. I'm great. Guys, I'm a YouTuber, makes comedic essays, essay videos that you can find on YouTube. Hey, it's Vadim, or you can also look up Creationist Cat. That still works. You're all familiar with my work, even if you don't realize it. I played bass on the Seinfeld theme. I came up with the Aflac duck. I'm Matt Gates's pimp, hairstylist, and ecstasy dealer, although I resigned last week. Politically, I'm pretty much a trad, anarcho-capitalist, monarchist, polygamist, abortionist, oath keeper. I'm staunchly anti-cancel culture. But if I see one of you traitorous soy boy cucks drinking Coca-Cola tonight, I'm gonna bust some ass, okay? Because you woke high fructose syrup drinking commies. You make me sick, okay? Drink Mr. Pibb or Monster Energy drink or Budweiser, king of fucking beers, like a real patriot, you traitors. That's all. Thanks for having me, PrimeCayes. I appreciate it. So thank you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna drink some coffee.
Sure.
It's like,
all right. Well, that's gonna be hard for you to follow. And LSP, I think this is where you've been dropping the ball. LSP. First of all, I'm thanking LSP for showing up and being part of this because I know he was on vacation. But also I want LSP to succeed. Okay, I don't know why the audience has not been responding to LSP. LSP has been great, right? I love having this guy around, and I want him to make it further into the rounds, maybe even win, right? But I think you have to start with a strong opener, all right? Let the people know, make a statement, okay? All right, so LSP, how are you doing? Tell the world about yourself. Go.
That is some good Coke. All right, next.
Ooh. You're on my bad side now.
I think you're right, PrimeCayes. I think LSP is great. He's great at getting voted out in the first round.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. My video went the whole thing about how Coke is traitorous. So I had to show my lefty anti-American spirit and drink a fine, cold Coca-Cola, which I happen to own shares of. So I'm even more of a traitor.
Hey, I didn't say owning shares is fine. I'm just saying drinking it is traitorous.
I double dip in traitorousness. So I got you covered.
Okay.
There you go.
I may look like I'm relaxed right now, but I'm just seething underneath.
I know you are.
Okay.
You'll all be seething by the time I'm done with you.
Whoa. All right. Oh, that's a thing. We're moving on. Well, Agent 10, who's been kind enough to join us. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I think this is your first time here on the Primetime Royale. How you doing today?
Doing great. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone on panel. I am your token center right figure on Twitch in these lefty spaces. Libertarian monarchist, Twitch chat shit poster professionally. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Okay. Next, we have Lyra Centauri. Lyra, Thank you for coming back. Lyra, an audience favorite. I can see them cheering for you already. Actually, they haven't said anything, but I'm sure they are.
Was that a neg?
No, it's not a neg. No, it's not a neg. So I'm sure they will. It's like aspirational. I'm sure they're gonna cheer her any second.
Hello, everybody. Lyra back again. Not gonna lie, kind of scared me here because it's a battle royale. Just hoping I don't get eliminated first. But hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
No, that's what you
Nice
have
to meet all
LSP
of you.
for. LSP is your safety
Don't worry,
cushion.
I'll get eliminated first. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Moving on, we have Hans of Harkir. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hans of Harkir?
Yeah, oh, you nailed it, like first try.
Oh.
Hey everyone, I'm Hans of Harkir. You can just call me Hans. I stream on Twitch. I love public policy. I love the news. I love Pokemon. I love dressing up like this. The only thing that I came here to correct was Kyo having the biggest arms on the panel. Like, I'm sorry, bitch. And then Kyo also being like the winner of the panel because, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you're going down. Like, I love you, but you're about to get put 6 feet under, and that's more than enough for you.
6 feet under, buried by my fucking trophies. Bitch.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's a statement.
They both lose to me.
That's a statement. That's a statement. That's how you do it. Okay. All right. Coming in hot, we have Ninetales. Ninetales Cosmic Fox. How are you doing today, Ninetales?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, especially after I made it to the final round last time. And chat, you are amazing. You are so amazing for voting me in for that. I was so happy that I got to discuss all those topics. Now, what I do want to say is you all tend to underestimate me a lot around here, and that's fine. But I'm a mythical demigod of debate. This Ninetales thing is no joke, so I'm going to let you all know. If you step too far, you might step into some foxfire.
Oof.
And that's all. That's it. That's
Yep.
I see my time.
Into
Sounds
some
like fun.
foxfire. Okay.
Foxfire.
Yeah. Explain that. What's that?
I think of like Shippo, like the puniest little demon from
From,
Inuyasha. Like, what are you talking about?
It's like,
yeah.
Like if I told you, that'd be telling.
I'm just saying, Ninetales. Like how much fire are we talking? Because I like it hot.
Well, it's Foxfire, so you'll trip over it. And you'll wonder what happened.
But yeah, nice reference there. Inuyasha, yeah. Okay.
I'm only actually. What's funny is everyone thinks I'm always referencing anime. The Ninetales thing does not come from any anime. It's just Japanese lore, and I just really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And I'm not saying I am a Ninetales fox, but I am saying I will tear you apart like one.
All right, it's a statement. I'll take it. It's a statement. All right. Next. We have an MVP here, Riverboat Jack, back at it. Riverboat Jack, always excited to have you around here. Riverboat Jack, tell the world about yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Riverboat Jack. I'm an aspiring trad wife in the coming socialist regime. And I just want to point out that Kyo-san has never gone up against me. I am the true powerhouse of the PrimeCayes panels. I come in, I dominate, and the only way I have ever been defeated is with nefarious tricks that knock me out of debate rings, that undermine the integrity of this panel, and I am here to claim my rightful title as queen of the PrimeCayes Battle Royale.
So wait, you're saying you've never won a panel?
I'm saying that the only way you're going to win is if you cheat, bucko.
So I've already won a panel, okay?
We have an admission of guilt.
We gotta step
We have
up
an
to me.
admission of guilt.
Yeah, no, he actually cheated. I should have won that panel.
Okay. All right.
Damn, the testimony is damning.
Okay. All right. A lot of hurt emotions, right? It's okay. It's okay. All right. Look, someone's gonna lose here, right? Someone's gonna lose badly. That's gonna be LSP. But beyond that, right?
Hey, he was the one drinking Coke.
To be fair, this is going to go either way, right? This is going to be like everyone in the audience is going to feel bad for LSP and push him all the way through, right? Or he's like, everyone's just going to play into the meme at this point. And he's just never going to get past first round.
Do votes count if they're pity votes?
I'm gonna vote for LSP.
Look, again, I love LSP and I want the best for him. The pattern is clear at this point, but I want the best for him. So come on, guys, like let's consider LSP. He provides great content for the channel. So please give him a chance. Give him a chance. All right.
I love that you're like a doting father at this point, Prime. Like LSP is that guy who goes out to T-ball every week and whisks the tea. He goes, "It's okay, son. You'll get it next time."
Okay.
Oh God.
He's got a lovable face. What am I gonna tell you? So next, last, and well, somewhere around there.
Near the bottom.
Near the bottom.
Near the bottom.
We have my man, Sneaky Debate Man / Dancing Spoon, back at it. One of my illustrious mods who's come to join us. One that we miss so much on our regular panels, but he's here tonight. Dancing Spoon, tell the world about yourself.
Among my achievements, I am the elected official representative of the Chatters Union, elected official representative of the Mod Union in PrimeCayes chat, and my internet's just cut out. Am I still?
You're
oh
good.
my god!
You're good. We can hear you.
He's that powerful.
Never
to try
mind.
and stop him.
There we go. No, we can hear you. You're back. You're back.
Unfortunately,
What
he's
sneaky
guilty of
debate
the
tactic
greatest.
is this? Like,
He's guilty of the greatest crime of all, being British.
Yeah.
like, oof.
Can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us. Can you hear us? We can see you.
My opening was somehow better.
Oh no. All right.
He
So,
didn't.
Oh no.
yeah, he's still.
LSP did not get shut out.
Oh my god. So hopefully things will go well. Hopefully he'll be able to hear us soon. Oh, he's frozen again. All right. Well,
Oh no, not Jesus.
and that's
Typical Brits, making all of us suffer on their behalf.
Well, there you go. All right. Well,
Ninetails, where's the fire? Like, it's not hot enough. This bitch is like he's in a block of ice. Now he's gone.
yeah, he'll be
Oh
back.
no.
And he's frozen in Discord, so he'll be back soon. Okay, so we'll get started, and hopefully we'll have our fallen comrade back in a moment. Let's jump into it. All right. So, topic 1. Virginia is now the 23rd state and first southern state to ban the death penalty. Do you support the abolishment of the death penalty? If so, should it be decided on a federal or state level? All right. So we'll 45 minutes left on the clock. You guys know how this works at home. You guys know the rules, right? Right?
Yeah.
No. Lyra. Okay, no.
Just jump in and
yeah, so-
argue.
Okay, no, that's my fault. Okay, so quickly, we'll have several rounds, right? They'll all be varying lengths. Like, the first one will be 45 minutes. The other ones will be shorter. We'll give you a topic. You'll jump in. You'll talk about it. Afterwards, we'll have the elimination round where the audience members will vote on who they want to stay, want to keep, not kick, right? And then after that. The person with the lowest, the people with the lowest scores will be up for elimination, and we'll eliminate them. We'll just keep blowing them down until we have a winner. All right? Okay. All right. Try it again. All right. Jump into it. 45 minutes left on the clock.
Okay, only an idiot would be in favor of like executing people, at least in the United States. Okay, like on average, it costs about $1.26 million per execution. On top of that, and that cost really can't be brought down because guess what? A lot of those costs are like court case costs. And frankly, we want to have a system where it's really difficult for the government to come in and murder the citizens. And that's
so you're not complaining about the cost of the execution, you're complaining about the cost of the court cases.
I'm complaining about the cost of all of it, and frankly, that's just one aspect. I think that setting a precedent where it's easy for the government to come in and murder
the cost of the court case
is real
so
bad.
High? Or
what I'm saying is the reason the court costs are so high is because it supports a system wherein we value people being alive and not being able to be executed by the government with
Court cases could be nothing if
impunity.
you just do summary executions.
Yeah,
Jack,
I mean,
you're-
look. Do we want a judge dread society where like the
Well, no,
cops are
that's
just
what I'm-
roaming
that's
around
precisely
murdering
what I'm gonna
people?
ask you. If
I
there
mean,
were no
no,
costs
that's definitely
associated
not
with
the
it, would
solution
you
at all.
still
Wait,
That'd be
I wanna-
cheap.
have
That'd
an
be super
opportunity?
Can I
cheap.
take?
It's
Can I
a
be like
fact.
a cunt here?
You could be a cunt, but first, I'd just like to say, I mean,
Sure.
it's a known fact that at least, I mean, at low ball estimate, sorry, my cat is just holding court here in the middle.
Aw.
We're
Do
gonna
I
vote
get
for the
points
cat.
for this?
Keep
You
the
do get
cat
points for
safe
it.
every
yeah,
time.
I mean, like
Pandering.
5%.
Pandering.
At the very lowest, about 5% of people who are on death row are there for wrongful reasons, and even if it was 1%, that would be far too high. There's no justification for the death penalty under that. Because human beings are fallible, and the system is always going to be fallible. There's lots of other moral arguments that one can make in terms of this, but I think that alone just seals the deal. I mean, like, we have a broken system, and there's frankly just no way to fix it because of the fact that there's always going to be room for human error. And once you execute someone, they don't come back. I think someone on this panel miraculously did, but that's not really the norm.
So I just want to make a case for. I'm going to make, because everyone here, I'm going to almost be certain, except maybe LSP is going to be very strongly against the death penalty. Am I right?
No,
I'm
No.
very
strongly
for it.
against
I
it.
got
I
some.
am very
I got some
for it.
caveats to hit you with. So
I would
Okay,
cool. But go ahead.
Genocidaires.
So I'm going to make the strongest possible case for that I think is for the death penalty. Right? There are people in our society that that have either like damaged brains to the point where they can't function in society, who will always be violent, who when they go into who
Damn,
are like
here's coming out against mental mental
Yeah.
disabilities here. What the fuck?
not necessarily.
Just get them
It
the
could
mental
be the
health
case-
care they need, dude.
So it could be the case that, well, no. Let me go through with this, right? So it could be the case that they have like a bad upbringing that would lead them to be like this, or it could be the case like lead poisoning to the point where they're like, because we know that lead functions increase violences, and they've had like bad areas, right? So these people will go into the justice system, go through the prison system, and through the prison system, they still cause more violence, right? These people get put into solitary confinement, and anytime these people do exist, by the way, like enough of these people, like I've seen these people personally, right? That are violent with almost every individual that they react with. So there's, for example, right? I go through education, and I know like a family member of mine who works in education, who works at corrective schools, and there is one student there who cannot interact with other students, right? Who cannot interact with the teacher.
So let's kill
who
him.
has to-
Let's kill him. Kill the kid.
So if you let me finish my point, right? I hope that people will take this charitably. That they have to be held by the shoulders at all times, right? These people go through the system. They have to be put into solitary confinement. They cannot interact with other people, right? Because they are literally so violent. Now, these people would either be left in solitary confinement for the rest of their lives, or if you want to be super charitable, stuck in a fucking straitjacket in a padded room for the rest of their lives, right? Or there could be some point where we say, hey, this is literal torture, because we understand that solitary confinement is literal torture. We do not want to torture human beings to that level of pain. And
Yes,
that we
and they
allow
do
them-
not have to be in solitary confinement. There are other options, even though that, I mean,
So what are those
perhaps
other
they-
options?
Also, this is just outdated
cells that are I was asked a question. Cells that are well guarded, that are kept away from other people, that's different from solitary confinement. There are a whole, and also you are kind of not thinking of the fact that perhaps in the future there will be other successful therapies, perhaps drugs, perhaps operations that people can have on their brains.
Yeah, so let's put them in a
seriously.
vegetated state with
I'm
drugs.
I'm talking about procedures that don't involve prying someone's eyes open with like weird gadgets and
Watch Hitler, listen to Beethoven.
what's the
yeah,
functional
and playing
difference?
Holocaust footage.
So what's the functional difference, what you mentioned before, about the cell being guarded with them not being allowed to interact with other people, right? Outside of maybe having like a guard person who stands in front of the cage and maybe talks to them about the news of the day? Like, there isn't much of a functional difference here.
That's a different, there is a difference between that and solitary confinement. I mean, I'm not saying that that isn't in itself kind of a punishment and perhaps a shitty life, but it's not solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is far more just madness inducing, and you are not having interaction with anyone. It goes on for months, sometimes years in horrible cases. So yeah, there is a difference, and just having some sort of human contact is indeed far preferable for most human beings than being kept in a cell. Like you're offering this as as if this is the only way to deal and the only way that the justice system does deal with people. Now the last thing I'll say is that if you are for kind of certain reforms that would make these situations more humane, I'm totally for that, but I'm not for fucking executing them, because again, you're going to be executing human beings who do not deserve it, who are innocent, who shouldn't even be on death row.
Even if they do deserve it.
What I just want to just say, it had nothing to do with anyone being innocent.
Point.
These are like repeat certain offenders that are literally too violent to be around other people, that are just going to have, like, what you're suggesting is just a bigger cage with someone standing out of the front. There's no difference here. It's still human isolation. It's still literal torture. We have scientific evidence to understand that this is torture. And I don't think this reservation about killing human beings justifies putting someone through a lifetime of fucking torture just for the chance, the minuscule chance, that they might have to have their brains fixed in like 20, 30 years' time. Because we are certainly nowhere near the technology right now.
You're talking. First of all, you're talking about it.
You have to like. I'm sorry, Kyo-san, you have to like understand that, like, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I love true crime. I love watching all those murder documentaries, and there are people in this world who are vile as fuck and do not deserve to live. However, you know how unjust our justice.
It's not about deserve.
As long as you have the death penalty, it will be used and abused against people who do not deserve the death penalty in large numbers. Because like most of the people on death row probably don't deserve it and are there for like stupid crimes that they shouldn't be killed for. So while
So
what we're talking about is a categorical removal of the death penalty.
There's no way for us to regulate who does and who doesn't deserve it.
There literally is.
I might.
There literally
will
is.
always be abused. That's
Okay,
some of the people there deserve it,
let's
but
try.
a lot of people there don't.
So the fact that there could be one innocent person, we're not.
No. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll go LSP, Agent Tand, and Hans. Okay.
Yeah, if I might suggest, I think we're missing like the forest for the trees here. Kyo-san's like entire frame of operations here is whether or not there is an alternative to the death penalty and how cruel these alternatives are. Even if you could assume the worst human being in the world, and I will say Adolf Hitler himself personally executed 6 million Jews. We'll just go with that, right? If you had this guy in prison, it would still be unjust to use the death penalty against him on the basis that that the actions of a human being are not determined by that human being themselves, but by factors around them. This is core to leftist thought, that people are born as blank slates, and if you change their upbringing, if you change their environment, you can change fundamentally who they are. And for some people with mental illnesses, this also applies. There's a reason people who are wealthy don't commit these kinds of crimes. By and large, right? There's a reason these kinds of crimes are limited to a certain socioeconomic class. It has nothing to do with whether it's just or it has nothing to do with whether or not these people deserve it. There might be some people who are not worthy of life. It's not on the state to exact that kind of justice against them, just on the basis that it's a failure of the state to provide for their needs in the first place.
Absolutely. Okay, well, and on top of that, I'll say real quick. Okay, you know what? Actually, fuck it. Prime had he had a. I'll talk later.
Yeah,
sure. I want to follow what Prime said. I don't want to be rude.
No problem. Agent 10.
Yeah, so the idea that there's a very small portion of people that are on death row that are there unjustly, and so we have to throw out the whole system is absolute stupidity. Because if we go by that logic, well, then we might as well get rid of the whole criminal justice system overall. If you're for reform and making the bar you raise the bar even more to prove and have more evidence to have these people be executed, well, then that's fine. But then you want to throw away the whole system. It makes no sense just because there's an extremely small portion that could be innocent.
Okay.
It makes absolute sense. If you kill one person unjustly, that's one person too many. And
so we just throw them away. We throw away in a circle their life unjustly.
We're killing way more than just one. I mean, 5% are presume what?
5% of what number?
No, not you. No, not you. What I'm saying is no to this idea that you could kill or even imprison people like unjustly. That it's by fact unjust. Unjust is not determined by the amount of time you serve, but by whether or not you've been reformed at any point.
Also, Kaizen, I think you're being absolutely ridiculous.
It's like,
All
all
right,
right,
let's go to
I'm being
Hans.
absolutely ridiculous. Go.
all right,
Okay,
so I'm gonna build Keo up, and then we're gonna tear him down. So specifically, I can completely understand the idea that if you get rid of, say, the cost issue of the death penalty, if you get rid of the issue of like people unjustly being killed when they have been proven later to be innocent, if you can solve those problems, then I have no philosophical issue against the death penalty. Because at that point, if we like solve the cost issue and we solve the like getting the wrong people issue, then we're literally only getting like, say, like the most horrible people. I'm also in favor of like raising the cap for that specifically. Then also, if we're talking about, say, potential reforms of the system, I think it's much more likely, and this is where Keo's a dumb fuck, is specifically that it's probably easier to reform the system to make sure that these like horrible monsters have a like communications with like therapists and psychiatrists and like have conversations with like other people to like make their existence less horrifying. I think that is a more realistic and reasonable reform than saying, oh, we are probably going to be able to magic away the like the false death penalty, like the bad death, the wrongful death penalty deaths, and be able to get rid of the massive cost of court, as Jack said, until we have like, fully automated, like, omnipresent, like gay space communism in our legal system. That's not possible. So if we're dealing with like the most realistic like reform of like fixing this, the best way is like you take the most monstrous people that you want to throw away the key, you throw away that key and leave them in the well, but like you do all the humane things that a society can do to make like being in prison less horrible. We don't have to like be fucking dungeons with rats and like people like dealing with like just like sitting in shit. We can have them like have realistic, comfy, rehabilitative prisons, or just like, life prisons, because they can't, like, they're not safe to be around other people. I think that's like the only reasonable way to like exist as a society.
So
Also,
you either have like
we
people
have
that
to
are completely
ask-
cut off from
we have
society, or you don't. It's like it's not that fucking hard, right?
Well, we
Like,
have
if
to
you
we
wanna
have to
complain about
ask
the
what is
cost
the
here, one
purpose
second, I'm
of
gonna
what
address.
Why can't you give them the
I know,
internet?
these-
Like,
these are
why do they have to
addressed.
be cut off?
Do you think? Wait, do you really think the internet is really a substitution for human interaction, like actual human interaction?
I mean,
I do. I
Kaizen,
for human
Kaizen.
interaction.
I'm sorry. I just realized I asked the wrong crowd of people.
yeah, I was
okay?
like,
Is my mic muted?
No,
Is my
you're
mic
good.
muted?
No, but
no, we
Okay.
can hear you.
So
I use it for
Kaizen,
human interaction.
a few things. On the internet, you can have actual conversations like we're having. So if the type of inmate that you're talking about has these sorts of problems, they could have a fucking computer and talk with other people without the danger of being some sort of violent serial killer. And but I have to say, I think you're vastly overestimating the number of people in the world that are like, I don't know, Hannibal the Cannibal, Leatherface, shit like that.
You're vastly underestimating it.
I don't know. I think you're vastly overestimating it. I think most people.
I mean, considering I've done the reading, I would argue that I've actually estimated it pretty well.
Jason, why do you
Okay,
think people kill in the first place?
I haven't done the reading.
I'm gonna guess,
but
yeah,
hey,
I'm gonna guess that
hey,
nobody else
Keo?
has run this argument
Hey,
before.
hey, Keo. Here's the thing though. Reformative prisons are way more effective than.
I agree. This isn't a reform issue. These are people who have some reason why they can't be, who are just consistently violent, who are a danger to literally everyone else around them.
Okay,
Keo, so why do you
When
think
you're
but-
saying that they
but-
can't be
hey,
reformed,
I-
that's
I
literally
need to-
outdated medical
Okay.
science.
It's
But
not
the
outdated
issue-
medical science. There are people
But
who literally
Keo-san,
have
you haven't addressed the key point, which is, okay, you want to execute these people because you've decided somehow that you know that they will never, ever, ever possibly reform. You've decided you're going to execute them. But there's still that chance that you might be executing an innocent person, because we all know that the justice system is biased in a numerous
This is pretty
ways.
simple. You'd have like
Now,
some level of
on
standard
top
that
of-
has to be
on top
passed
of
before you
that,
even do this.
what
People
what
who
is
are repeatedly
Keo,
violent that have to be fucking solitary confined. This isn't that big of a deal.
But that standard's more money, man.
It is that big of a deal.
What is the acceptable rate of innocent people being murdered that you're okay with?
7.
This would be 0. This is not that fucking hard to put the barriers in place.
What?
So that you
Wait,
can be
you
like
have
near certain
wait,
about this
Keo,
point.
you have an infallible system that can determine who is
Jack,
and is not
if
guilty
he-
100% of the
hey, Jack,
time.
These
if
are
he
very,
did-
Whoa!
very unique
Would you have an-
cases. These are
Jack, if
very,
he
very
did have-
unique cases.
Jack, if he
Pardon?
did have an infallible system, would you still oppose it?
If you
No.
had an infallible system, I think that the best outcome would still be life in prison.
Yes, so why bring
this
it
is a
up?
canard. This is this is a total non
Because,
sequitur. Then.
because your argument is also kind of predicated on the idea that you have an infallible system. So, are you
But you
comfortable
don't care
with?
if I have an infallible system or not. Why
Well,
ask?
but
Not only that, you're
because Keo,
Silly care. That's
you're-
really important.
I want to know what percentage of people you're okay killing who are innocent, because
I
you
already
don't have
said
an infallible
0.
system. So
Okay.
realistically, you're not in favor of the death penalty
If
because
can
you
literally
don't
put
have
it,
an
it's not that
infallible
hard.
system.
So it's not that hard to put in. It's such a stringent. You don't care if I have an infallible system or not. So I don't know why we're arguing this
Okay,
point.
but
And
you
two,
do.
Why,
You care if
pardon?
you have an infallible system, unless you're just arguing
two,
to be a
it's not
dumb
that hard to
fuck,
put
which
standards.
is what
It's
you're
not that
doing
hard to
right now.
So we can either all sit here and like
We
all
already
get along
have
and
some.
agree
Yeah,
that like
Keo, we
it's
already
not
have
a
some.
penalty.
No,
But
Keo,
we can have this interesting
let's go-
I'm
conversation.
willing to
Let's
be.
go
I have a question. I have a
everyone,
question
before
for
we do that, before we
Akayo-san.
do that, let's go to Ninetales,
Sure.
and then we'll go to Vadim, and then Spoon if he wants to jump in. Go ahead, Ninetales.
Yeah, so like again, the argument to Kyo-san's dilemma has already been answered. It's very clear. We just don't put them through like inhumane conditions if we're going to lock them up for life. It is that is it. We have the internet. We can find ways to get people social interaction. I love technology. I also love technology because it allows us to get deeper and deeper into the brain and understanding why it is the way it is. And as time moves on, we will be able to rely on the ability to treat these people. So if anything, my argument is that the death penalty is so obsolete already, but it's becoming more and more obsolete with every new generation. And we're just not going to need it. So it's better to get rid of our reliance on it altogether than even like still put people through this. By the way, I don't know if anyone pointed this out in the debacle of things at first, but like in a lot of cases, putting people through the death penalty is more expensive than keeping them in jail, just for whoever thinks that the inverse is true.
But that's
By the
because
way,
the amount of
I
time
want to
they
be clear.
spent
I
on
want to be
death
clear
row.
about a
So if
point
we
here
shorten
because
that,
this is
then
one that
that's
people
not-
can. So I want to bring up a point here because it seems like it's flying over everyone's heads. If you think that the internet is a substitution for human interaction, without even looking at data, I should just be able to point to the last year, right? Of anyone actually thinking of like not going outside, like how much different it is to actually go outside, breathe fucking fresh air, spend time with friends, human fucking contact. Holy shit! Like this isn't that hard of a point. And if it is the case,
This becomes.
And you can talk to people. Like you don't have to like
Wait,
keep them in a
this-
fucking box.
Keo,
Well,
do you
I
think
don't
people
wanna
are
play-
this is
locked in
becoming-
prison
Fucking
like some
grass.
sort of
But
hold
Wolverine
on,
type
hold
prison or
on.
Magneto
Hold on.
prison?
Touch
Vadim.
Okay, dude, so why not execute all sorts of prisoners? Because we have all sorts of prisoners who are not
Fuck
on
yeah.
death row, who are subject to close to the same conditions. Now, again, I want to reform these things and make things as humane as possible for these people, but you are suggesting something that applies to far more people than just those that are on death row. So, according to
I'm not
your
talking about
logic,
anyone on death row.
why
to be
not
clear.
execute those people? Why not? Like
I'm not
seriously.
talking to anyone about any. I'm not talking to anyone on death row. I wouldn't
And-
have any of
and-
these people.
and-
I would be
and on-
talking
and
about
on top of that,
incredibly.
The
why do you have to-
internet.
Why can't I say a full sentence?
Because you've been talking a lot, and I have and
Because
I have more
everyone's
to say.
talking to me.
I
sorry.
understand that. And you can
Turns out you had a
Let
good
Vadim go.
point.
Let Vadim
I-
go. Let him go.
Vadim, finish your point, and then Kill. I'll give you a chance to respond to that. After that, we'll try Spoon.
My point is that yeah, like having internet access isn't going to lead to some like amazing fulfilling life. We're not necessarily trying to give them that either. We're trying to strike the balance between having a humane environment that isn't insanely cruel and still give them some sort of punishment without taking their lives, preferably. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah, I just want to say too, like there are people who just fundamentally believe people have the right to their life and don't believe that you can just arbitrarily take that away from them. So
Well, it's not
Okay, well,
arbitrary.
intrinsic-
You obviously
intrinsic
lose
rules
that
are
right.
incredibly
It's
courage.
crazy
Kill
shit.
Kill
yeah, it is arbitrary because when did this person say I'm okay with getting rid of my life? Who are we to decide that suddenly they don't value
forfeit
their
that
life
right.
Kill
We
once
Kill
do
you
it. We
agree
literally
to
do it as a
crime.
state all the
Right.
time.
Kill I want you to be able to respond to all of
Yeah,
this.
and
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying it's unethical.
Yeah, sure. So, like, one, the state literally does this all the time. It's preferable that the state does. This is like basic moral quandary. Two, fuck, where were we?
already
This,
answered
I would
your
be
quandary.
advocating for incredibly tightening these restrictions, like restricting them to such the point that the field of these would literally just be within the purview of what I'm talking about. And I don't think for having such a stringent field, it would be that hard to have only those people grouped within it, right? If you're going to argue that having the existence of having this might lead to it being expanded, and including other people, that's fine, right? That's a pretty reasonable argument, but that's not what I'm talking about here. We're talking about a categorical question of if the death penalty is ever acceptable. And what I'm trying to put forward here is there's a reasonable quandary here where we either allow some people to die or we like have like infinite fucking torture turmoil, right? That's it, right? The cost
We
is
don't
a
need to
cost of the
have the
justice
torture.
system.
Yeah, it's like
This is
So
false.
what
We don't
can
need
we
to
do,
have the
Matt?
torture. We can.
These
we
are
can
people who
allow
can't
people
interact
to
with other
live
people.
in a normal
You can-
prison environment.
you can have safe interactions with other people. Like just put them behind like a bulletproof door, and they can
Also-
talk to people. You can still have face-to-face interaction
no,
with human beings. You can
yeah,
still
I'll
give
go
them
a
like the
step
ability,
further.
like
The same.
I'd
go a
like
step further,
LSP
though.
to
I like
join.
what we say. You can have violent prisoners in the same room with each other with guards who are ready to stop them if they become
Just
violent.
battle royale.
Oh,
it out,
you
guys.
clearly don't
That's not
realize
what I
what
said.
happened in prison.
I know.
You
I
Wait,
really
was-
don't
I'm
realize
sorry.
Wasn't
what happened in
someone's
prison.
Pretty sure I spent more time than you, pal.
reputation of this?
Oh,
Wasn't
in
someone's
prison.
reputation of this the cost? Let's have fucking 2 guards on hand to watch this guy at all
Can-
times,
wait,
just to make sure
can
they
I-
don't have violent
Can I
outbursts.
ask?
That
Can I
would be
ask
less
how
costly
prevalent
than
is
the
it
entire
for serial
justice
killers
system?
to keep
I'm
killing in
sure.
prison?
if we're talking about cost, Keo, what my question would be, right? If I completely agree with you that if we can like get rid of or like have the requirements to like have like the the people be killed, like make sure that it's so thoroughly vetted that like we have like perfect information on this. I'm totally fine with it in that instance. But what I'm asking is that process that you're describing, I feel like that's more courts, that's more money, that's more fees.
good.
Like
That's
no,
good.
And that's fine. But what I'm saying is, are the two options in like
I don't care about the cost.
No, I do, because like we're talking about like dealing with these people like in an effective manner. Either we have like say even more expenses for dealing with someone. I think it's possible with the potential millions of dollars that your new retrofitted system would take to just give them a relatively decent life with access to therapists and access to entertainment and access to other human beings that they can talk to without letting them like literally choke the life out of them. Like I can talk to other people without killing them. Even like if there was like say a bar between me, like a bunch of bars between me and like someone I was talking to in real life, I don't need to kill them, and it would still like not change my ability to interact with them like on a like vocal level. So like I think you're saying like we either have to like kill them, or we use all the money that we've spent making sure that they're worth killing, just give them a safe, decent life away from people that they could be hurting. Like if those are the two options, I'll take the second one. Unless you could say it's more cost effective to do the first one.
So if it is, to be clear, if it is the case that we can somehow set up some system where we sink money into it and these people can live like decent lives, and sure, whatever the fuck, right? Who cares, right? But we have to admit that at some point, the torture isn't worth keeping people alive.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
We don't have to torture these people.
I'm gonna let.
We've established that.
Torture.
We'll start
He's
with,
very pro
So we'll
torture.
start with here's what we'll do. We'll start with Vadim, then we'll go to Lyra.
I'm sorry, I'm not pro-torture.
I think you had your
Okay.
hand up. Hold on.
Okay,
hold on
okay.
a second. I just want to get the
Sure,
with
sure.
Lyra. We'll go to Agent 10. Then we'll go to LSP. Ninetales, and then Jack.
I had my
right?
hand up like before
Oh.
any of them, but
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
you know what? LSP then me. He did have his hand up before.
Okay,
so
go
the
ahead.
moderator is rigged against me.
I'm
You
sorry.
see
I
this
literally
chat?
was
The
not
Trying to
moderating
keep
you
him
all.
down.
Even the moderator's trying to
Look
get
at
me
this
voted
king.
out.
He's being
Wow.
silenced by the media.
LSP, go first. Fine, go ahead.
If Sneaky wasn't having internet problems, he'd be last place here.
Mhm.
All right, there's 2 questions that Keo needs to answer. Right, everyone's missing this for like a more fundamental problem with his framework. He needs to answer why people are evil in the first place. Why are people murderers in the first place? Why does Hannibal Lecter exist? What makes Hannibal Lecter? And when he says that he wants more rigid standards, I'm lost at this. Like, you're convicted beyond a reasonable doubt, and you have an appeal system through several courts all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and innocent people still get executed. So what other standard do you want?
Yeah,
Like, how do you make that more rigid?
No, I agree. So LSP, we're gonna like more or less agree here, but you're gonna say there's like some deontological position that's like rule based for people in the chat that might say that we shouldn't, like, if it's caused by the state shouldn't have a hand in their execution. You mentioned that at the start of that panel, correct?
Sure.
Yeah. So I just fundamentally disagree with that. We've got to understand what the consequences are. We've got to understand how we cash them out, right? And whether the state had like a hand in this person's continued torture, I don't think matters that much. But we would both agree that it's the state. It's things that have happened. Like, it's a failure of the state. It's a failure to act in certain circumstances. It's the so for example, the regulation of lead paint would be a very big one here, right? We understand like lead, what's the word? Like being exposed to lead, especially
real
like
quick.
significant amounts of lead is gonna
Do you
be like
see it as
on.
unjust to execute people for having a bad upbringing, having
Pardon?
exposure to lead paint that they wouldn't have if they were born in the right household? Like, do you see that as an unjust system?
Execute or prosecute?
Execute.
Execute. I don't see it as like. What do you mean by just?
I mean, is it right to execute people who might have head problems because they were exposed to lead paint, or they had an abusive household, they had a rough upbringing, they were part of a gang, all these different things, these environmental factors that feed into them to create the Hannibal Lecters I'm talking about, right? Is it just to execute these people if all these factors were outside of their control?
To execute them if they're like, if they're so like if we're talking about like Hannibal Lecter, is Hannibal Lecter like killing people around them all the time? It's been like a while since I've seen Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, let's say he's
like,
killed 100 people. He's killed 100 people, but there are
Is he
all
gonna
these
kill
factors
again?
that led.
Is there a chance he'll kill again?
Maybe if you don't reform him, sure.
Yeah, so if we can just reform them, then sure, that's preferable in every single circumstance. I'm talking about very unique, like niche set of individuals who are beyond reform.
Question.
Because if we can reform,
Okay.
I'm 100% in favor of
I
reform.
was next.
Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead. Vadim.
Sorry.
What are the other standards?
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
I think we just all have to face the fact that Kiyosan here is just chock full of donkey shit, and we should not allow him to get away with what he's continually been doing, which is insisting that the only way in which to deal with these people is to subject them to horrible, inhumane conditions. Therefore, they should die. We have all, most of us have given ways in which we can remedy that situation. Not all these people are dealt with in such a manner. So I think that we should all
every time. I feel like you haven't been listening to me.
Make a pact in order to not let them to get away.
Vadim, what did I say every time?
Thing,
what did I say every time?
I don't
What did
care.
I say every single time?
I'm going on with what
conditions improve. No, because you're assigning me positions I don't hold, right?
Positions we don't hold.
But you've continually brought it up. I just like to finish what I'm saying right now.
Well, I don't want you to
I
say
have
a
other point.
and get galloping past it.
Kill. I'll mute you. Damn it. Let him finish. Vadim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bitch. Get muted.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess I was going to, I'll just say this very quickly. I completely agree with LSP that we have to take into account the fact that to a certain degree that society and the laws that we have created and the conditions that we have created have a hand in the in what occurs to people over the course of their lives. And we can't shirk that responsibility. I'm not saying it's all us and they're 100% or we are all 100% just responsible for that, but it needs to be taken into account. Last thing I'm going to say is this, which has not been mentioned at all, which is just for those who don't know, the effect of the death penalty. You know, it's been studied as to whether or not the death penalty has a overall positive or negative effect for those who are affected, like the those who are family of the victims, let's say. And in some cases, I mean, it's not 100%. It's never going to be. In some cases, some people do find some solace in the fact that these people are exterminated. But more often than not, those who are in that position actually afterwards do not feel a sense of well-being or wholeness as a result of it happening. They actually feel worse and they're kind of traumatized by it. So that's something else that I mean, perhaps it's a lesser point, but it's just something that we should factor in all of this when kind of determining whether or not we think that we should do this.
This is for like.
Okay.
all the
Can you post
like,
that in
I just want to clarify my position that I didn't get to before, right? My position, this whole panel, every time anyone who's responded with any of these things has been, if their conditions to improve to such a point where it's not torture, let's not do it, right? But we have to understand that there may be a case where it is, right? You can say that like, yeah, we can give them the internet. Sick. We understand the internet isn't necessarily a replacement for human interaction, and that it still might be this problem, right? Because we understand, as it is, solitary confinement is torture. The current justice system is dog shit. The way we do the death penalty is fucking dog shit, right? But if it gets to a case where none of those things work, right? We have to contend with the fact that is it better to let this person die or put them through like near infinite torture? I can't believe
that you were saying this for the 50 millionth time.
We gotta move on. Stop. Lyra, Agent 9, Jack, then Hans. I'll put you at the end.
Okay, thank you. So Kyo-san, I hope I'm saying your name right. Please correct me.
You actually are. You actually are the first person to say it straight up. I love it. Everyone gets it wrong. You've done a great job.
Except for me.
Right?
Except for me.
That's true. That's actually true. The fellow
I think-
weeb in the chat.
I think I'm about to make you a little bit happier because I think that of everyone here, I understand the most of where you're coming from. Because there are people in this world, they may be few and far between, but there are people in this world who are just pure evil, who cannot be reformed, and do not deserve to live. But our system is not just enough to decide who those people are. And like more so, if we start allowing our system to, well, they're already allowed to, but we continue to perpetuate the death penalty, the state will have a large incentive to criminalize people who don't deserve it, criminalize people who the government doesn't agree with, say in Antifa underneath a Trump administration. So like as long as you keep the death penalty up, then the state will continue to have a large incentive to kill these people. Because like, hey, I could just send them off to jail, get them killed, lethal injection. I never have to worry about these voters again. Pug, we don't want to incentivize our government to do that because we know how fucked up America can be. Another thing that I want to say is that there are plenty of people on death row with false charges. And while I agree with you, I get what you were saying when it's like with the whole cost productivity and stuff. I also don't care about the cost. Like if it was more expensive to like if it was cheaper to like kill people, I still wouldn't be for it. I also don't care about the cost of pure ethics for me. But it's like our system is not just enough to decide who does and who does not deserve murder. Because while there are evil and vile people in this world, as long as we allow our system the ability to kill people that the law doesn't agree with, whether it be for purely because they're evil, okay, and they cannot be reformed, and it will be abused. And it will be abused in big numbers. I don't want to incentivize our government to kill people that they don't agree with, depending on the administration. So I get where you're coming from. I still don't agree with the death penalty.
Okay.
So Lyra, I 100% agree with everything you just said. Like a dead set, pretty much all those are true, right? If the death penalty exists, there's a chance the state could expand it. We could hit people that are like, and it could, which is like scary, right? We'd have to it's probably like, but what we're looking at is the idea of the death penalty as a categorical, right? Something that's true in all instances, that we should never have the death penalty, should always look to abolish it, right? And that in all instances, I think it sort of falls. I think it has trouble with this idea that like if there are people who are stuck in these living situations, right? Because we're talking about a specific hypothetical, not even necessarily hypothetical, because these people exist, right? But when we look at these as categorical statements, right, that there are instances in which we would be probably more comfortable with using the death penalty than not.
Okay,
I still don't think we should have the death penalty.
So we gotta go to Agent. Hold on, we gotta move on. We gotta go to Agent, 9, Jack, and Hans. So Agent, please.
Yeah,
we have like
even then
11 minutes left. Go ahead.
Even during this whole conversation, everyone here is talking about restricting the death penalty. So even the worst of the worst that we know for a fact, not these, 5% at the very most, I think was said, that, falls through the cracks and are actually innocent. We are restricting the amount of people who actually get to make sure they're the ones who did it. We're making sure they're the ones who are evil and the fucking ones that are not innocent in this situation. And even then, I really don't think everyone here understands that throwing someone in a cage for 30, 35, 40 years is even just at all even better. Even if they are innocent, that's worse than death. I don't know why we're not talking about that. So yeah, you get rid of the death penalty, you're still going to have the problem of throwing people that in jail that they shouldn't have. And even then, that percent is so fucking low. So I don't know, Lara, what plenty of people you're talking about.
If they're truly murderous and are evil, why do you care if they're in solitary confinement for the rest of their lives?
Oh, I want them dead.
Another thing, well, that's the thing. A lot of your one of your is that hey, it's worse to keep people locked up for their lives because they're kept in such terrible conditions. But then
I want to put them out of their misery.
Hey, there are really fucked up people who deserve the death penalty. Well, if those people truly deserve the death penalty, why do you care that the quality of their life is fucked up?
Because I'm humane.
Because they're alive. Just cut out the death penalty. Totally. I don't think there should be any death penalty at all. Some people
so we should lock them in a cage for years and years.
It will be abused.
Okay. All right. Moving on. We got to go to Jack. Sorry. 9, Jack, and then Hans. Go ahead, Ninetales. And then Vadim. I see your hand up. Ninetales, you're muted.
Oh no.
That's what I get for being polite. But yeah, so here's the problem with when you say that oh no, innocent people might have to serve time in jail. They're actually able to appeal their process and testify on their behalf when they do, which is so much better than being dead. Because when you're dead, you can't do that. And you definitely can't defend yourself and give your testimony on your behalf. So I think that you made it sound like it's the worst thing in the world for someone who's innocent to be alive. No, I'd say it's arguable. Like, no, not even arguable. It's undebatably worse to be dead.
Okay. All right. Moving on. We have Jack.
So from a lot of these arguments, it seems to be like, okay, we don't care about the cost of having the state execute people. Okay, we
I
also
care.
seem to assume that we would come up with some either hypothetically have an infallible system. Okay. And we also seem to be assuming that also there are hypothetical individuals who are just so divorced from humanity that they are incapable of being reached, they are incapable of any reform, and they are incapable of even receiving mental treatment. Because I would argue that anyone who's that far gone, then we're talking about a mental health issue. We're talking about people who are in serious need of medicalization. We're talking about people who are in serious need of that. And I think it is deeply, deeply, deeply problematic that the answer you are all coming up to with this to this problem is that, oh, we just kill them. Because it seems to me like that argument is kind of saying, let's kill mentally ill people, which is not that great.
Let's be fair. Joe.
On top of that, you have to
Band-Aid.
on top of that, you have to like take into account like coerced confessions, because hey, we don't have an infallible system. In fact, we had the Central Park Five make their confessions under duress by police officers because we have an infallible system, and people were calling for their execution too. So part of this is like, you are making this entire hypothetical situation that I don't think even backs up your argument fully, even if you give all of the hypotheticals that you're asking for. Because guess what? We do have people who are the worst of the worst in prison. We have people all over the world who are like renowned serial killers who have killed dozens, if not over hundreds of people, who spend their time in prison, and they don't murder more people because they're in prison under controlled circumstances.
There are people in prison who murder other people in prison, right?
Now people do die in prison. People do get killed in prison. However, I think that equating like controlled circumstances and controlled interactions with other human beings with permanent torture, and so your solution to that is to murder mentally ill people, seems deeply, deeply troubling to me.
Okay,
So,
can I respond?
All right, wait. All
Please?
right, so I have something that will make literally
There
everyone
have been
happy.
3 people replied to me. Shut the fuck up.
All right. So go ahead. Joe-san.
Okay, so like just a quick reply to Ninetales on death being the worst thing. I don't think death's the worst thing. I think there's like torture that's way worse than death. Now the reason I cite this is because like in part, like I do as a part of my work, I'm a safety officer, right? And there's one film that we watch, and I'd highly recommend it, if you haven't watched it, anyone in the chat, anyone in this video, that if you find it, you watch it. It's called Remember Charlie, right? It's a guy who works who does like a press circuit, who went through an oil fire, right? And his explanation of his recovery, because he survived, right? He survived being like blown the fuck up. And his explanation of his recovery makes me realize if I was him, I'd just want to die the second that it happened, right? So anyone who wants to like, there are like situations in which death is significantly more preferable to certain circumstances. And I would hope.
Then shouldn't we let
anyone
those
in the
prisoners
Now we're
decide?
getting into a different discussion.
No,
I just
because
want to
there's something
at crux of the argument.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Hans, and then Vadim.
All right, so I have something that will fix Keo's problem. I hope this will satisfy a lot of lefties. I think Agent will be fine with this too. So what if we find in our imperfect justice system as it exists, what if we made the death penalty and life in prison without parole like co-punishments, and the prisoner could decide for themselves whether they want to, like, say, exist in prison and potentially like maybe appeal like their thing, or if they want to die. So that way, all the people that Keo is saying is like they don't want to be tortured, so they'd rather die, get to die. But all the people who say like want to keep living and like live in like whatever environment like they can find themselves in, hopefully like, you know, a somewhat like reformed prison system, can keep living, and they have the choice to die at any time if they so desire. I think
So,
that
Hans,
why doesn't that satisfy all?
Wait.
Why can't I reply to people?
please,
Jesus
go ahead.
fucking Christ!
Go ahead.
Because other people don't end up. There's only 5 minutes left. Can I please? Like you've talked so much.
Go.
Thank you. What you are suggesting, Keo-san, is what is wrong with our justice system to begin with. You approach things as though people cannot be rehabilitated. We don't have any sort of machinery that can bore into people's brains and figure out whether they are truly incapable of rehabilitating. Yes, there are some people who might seem like they are fierce killing machines and they are unreachable, but we don't know that. The goal of our prison system should be rehabilitation, even if someone is in a circumstance where they are in jail for life. They should be able to be mentally rehabilitated. They should be able to be reached, and if they are insane, be hopefully made sane again. And you're acting as though that is just an impossibility when we never know that that's an impossibility. It's always a possibility.
Okay.
All right, can I go?
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
how
Can I
many
make a
serial
You go,
Can I try
and
and
then
make
we'll-
all of my replies?
reply, and then if we have time, we'll get Ninetales. And...
All right, I want to reply, and then I want to clarify why my position's bad, because like I said at the start of this position, this is a devil's advocate position. This is understanding why we don't categorically hold things, right? So to Hans, what I would say is what I mentioned before about the Remember Charlie thing. If I hadn't watched that film, if I'd gone into it before, I would want to be like resuscitated, right? After watching that and understanding the kind of recovery that guy had to go through, the level of pain and what it was worth, fuck no, kill me. Let me fucking die, right?
And I
People
gave you
don't
the
have-
choice. I let you die.
No. So people don't have a full understanding of their preferences in certain circumstances until they go through those certain circumstances. When people sign up for 30 years of fucking torture, they might not understand what they're signing up for, right? The people's preferences change once they experience them. They might want to fucking die like 40 years down the line, but they've already gone through 40 years of torture at that point. It's not worth it. Now, to understand why my position is necessarily like one that we probably shouldn't be advocating for, it's that, like Lyra mentioned before, is that like we can expand these problems, right? That like if it's there's a chance it's going to be moved. It's harder to like set the resources for these things. That what we should generally do is look at the best of what's going to advocate for the best thing within a legal framework, and understand that everything is political. Understand that when we put these things through, they have to go through a political system. You have to use political capital, get these things through, and that people might change it in the future, and that it's better off to just go to the fucking constitution or whatever the same thing in your country is and just ban the fucking death penalty, because it's not worth it.
Okay,
All right.
so Kiyo-san, when you said that, well, when you respond to me with the idea that these people are going to be tortured, it's not about torture. It's about them getting justice. And what I'm saying is when you remove the ability for innocent people to seek justice, that is a much greater injustice than them simply being dead. I think Hans mentioned something, or maybe I misinterpreted their joke, but like, I think it's interesting. If you gave people the choice between death row and the rest of their life in prison, they'd probably just choose death row because they don't have to spend as long in that scenario. Not because it's torture, but because one is an easy way out, in my opinion. And that's why I actually don't like the death penalty. I think if you're going to make people face the consequences of their actions, which is with the death penalty, all you're doing, you're just making them face the consequences of their actions, then I definitely think that giving them the easy way out just is logically inconsistent.
No, Ninetales. It's not that it's giving them the easy way out. The reason why you give them this specific choice is that you give them one of the two most like serious punishments you can give, and then what Kiyo has been arguing, like I'd say like relatively well, is that if we make people stay alive and that's worse for them than dying, then we're actively torturing them. But at the same time, if someone just wants to, no, but then I'm also saying if someone wants to die and then we keep them alive and torture them, then like either way, if you don't give the both options, like there's a group of people that are unsatisfied. The ones that are killed when they would prefer to live, and the ones that are living when they prefer to be killed. This is a way that completely solves both of those issues while making sure that no one who would like doesn't want to die dies, and make sure that anyone who like doesn't want to like expend like life in prison doesn't have to. This is literally the best of both worlds while making sure that they get their comeuppance, whether it's life in prison or death penalty. I think that's totally.
I think you would see like a certain choice made over the other. And I just want to point out lastly, again, the world where we can't reform people is going to be like obsolete. Like we're not going to see that and within our lifetimes. So again, just remember, even if you support the death penalty now, it's going to be super obsolete as technology and psychiatry and stuff like that progresses.
I'm also for the
How? What
reform,
technology
but
are
like
you
make the
talking
prisons
about?
better so that like I don't want that life to be torture. I want it to like be the reform.
Yeah, to Hans's point, like reformative justice is about seeking ways that we can do things like prisons, getting equitable results for everybody. And the underlining idea is that we aren't spending our time torturing people for no reason. We want them to be able to get out of prison and integrate into society, or at the very least, be able to integrate into prison life.
So
how many
you can
serial
look
killers have we fixed?
You can look at the Nordic model in Sweden. They have prisoners working and living communally together in prisons. Their prison guards don't even need fucking guns. Like
So,
we can create systems that are better, and setting up the death penalty is the
that
be all end all is the
the
problem.
Are these
round.
all-
That's the round. Okay, great. That was great. That was a solid first round. A lot of participation there. So what's going to happen to my audience? We're going to have voting. I'm going to put a link in chat soon. You're going to vote on these individuals. So you have their name tags here as to who you remember. You're going to vote for who you find the most interesting, the most well informed, the funniest, whatever it is. Right? You're voting who to stay, not who to go. Right? So you want to vote to keep, not who to kick. Okay? All right. The one you like the most, not the one you like the least. Okay. So on that note, LSP, I suggest you change your name back so that people know who they're voting for. I'm trying to do you a favor here, buddy. Okay. So I'm gonna start putting the link in chat. Everyone, vote. You'll have, oh crap, I'm gonna put the timer in now, so I'm gonna forget. You have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to vote. Do it now, not later. All right. So there it is. Right there in chat, everyone.
I should have changed my name to Hey, It's the Death Penalty.
It's the death penalty. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
You have 5 minutes. The link is in chat. You have 5 minutes. Like, don't complain at me afterwards. That you didn't. We've seen it before. We've seen it happen a bunch of times here, right? People have waited, right? And once it's 5 minutes, I'm not gonna refresh. I'm gonna see the results. I'm not gonna refresh again. And then we'll vote the person off, right? Then after I refresh, we find out that person wasn't even eligible for voting if everyone had voted beforehand. So vote now, don't wait, and don't complain at me later, all right? So now's the time. Jump in, vote. Vote for the person you find the most interesting, the person you want to stay, not who you want to go. And be kind to LSP, please. I mean, he's
LSP
Look at this fucking
LSP
champion.
I'm not. Okay, no, fuck it. I don't want to give up my vote. Fuck you, LSP. Fuck off. Everyone else, fuck off. Vote for me. Let's go, Joe. Let's go.
Okay, but, like, gang, like, actual question, like, what are like issues with the choice thing? I think that's like that solve a lot of like the moral quandaries.
So I think that can set up a situation where the state might have some sort of incentive to make prisons worse in order to encourage people to take the euthanasia option.
It's not like giving them the choice of pleading guilty was used well.
I'll be right back.
So yeah, because it could be the case that like we understand that like exiting the justice system right now is incredibly fucking bad. That a lot of people just like at the point in their lives where they might think like, there's no life left for me. It's going to be terrible. Things are only going to get worse from here. I'm better off inside, and that inside is like torture. They might just choose. They might be literally choosing suicide, not choosing not to deal with the rest of their lives. They might be choosing a suicide here because they don't think their life is like worth it.
Are you
and to be
in
clear,
favor
I just want to make
Also-
triple clear to everyone that was listening. This was a devil's advocate position, right? This was a Harvard argument. You can actually go and look it up on the death penalty. It's on the Harvard YouTube channel, and this was their argument as to why not. This is an interesting, what we call hypothetical about why we should what problems a categorical stance on the death penalty has, right? Like I mentioned at the end.
That here. Yeah, seriously, like because it was a good thing to discuss in a good position instead of like what a lot of it usually goes to. And I just want to say, like, chat was awesome with talking through this. Some people were a little bit sarcastic, but like I had a really fun time watching chat and reading other people's opinions. I still kept my own and didn't really. I'm way smarter than you all, so I didn't actually glean anything new from it. But you're all great. Seriously, I love you.
So
Also,
everyone,
Han,
Don't fucking like. Well, we know what you're doing there. Okay?
Everyone, vote now. Vote now. Don't vote later. The link is in chat. Vote right
Use your
now.
American right.
Or you're gonna be heartbroken later. You will be heartbroken later when the person you
I
want
will
to
be
say
heartbroken
Also-
later.
will be tossed.
Also, Hans, like part of the right to death.
Sorry, what is that crinkly sound? Because Vadim,
Oh,
could you give
sorry.
me some, please?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I have
Part
some.
of- part of-
Dean's doing
part of
it.
part of the like the right to death and like taking your own life revolves around like being able to make that in like a good mental state. And I would argue maybe a lot of the people in prison who would take advantage of this would not be in that mental state for an ethical doctor to be able to be like, yeah, okay, we'll administer that.
Totally.
I see it as so long as our systems are like unjust and are fucked up, I don't think we have any right to decide who lives and who dies, because that's like the ultimate like justice decider. Because if you die, then you can't come back. There's no coming back from that. So I'd
Unless
rather
you're
put
Hans.
more resources into like recreation programs.
I mean, like, yeah, can't get me more than once. I've come back. Like, it just doesn't work. So
Hans, what's on the other side?
what's on the other side?
Yeah.
Anime, like anime cat
Oh,
girls.
shit.
Oh damn!
Far as-
All the religions.
Far
are
as the
wrong.
eye can see, and
weebs
they're
are
all
right.
wearing exactly what I'm wearing.
Is this like pro support? Is this passively supporting suicide or something?
I mean,
Like here, don't tell chat to
passively.
commit suicide. Is all I'm saying. That's TOS.
It's like I'm not trying to like chat. If you really want to see cat girls that bad, there's lots of internet places you can go. You don't have to die. I promise. Like choose
See,
life.
and that-
Chat,
and
choose
that-
life.
Kiyosam, the internet liberates us all from our human fallibilities, okay? From our human condition. So just remember that.
As do our 2D waifus. Okay?
I was.
Did any of you motherfuckers even?
Yeah.
Did any of you motherfuckers vote for me?
No.
How is
I
yours
voted for you. I literally voted for you. I literally voted
Fuck
for you.
you, man.
I did vote
If
for
it-
you. I
You're
voted
If
for
it
you.
makes you feel any better, you're tied.
Oh my god, the meme's coming true. I didn't
Oh,
think it
boy.
would this time. I feel really
Okay.
bad now.
All right, so it is what it is now.
What do I gotta do? Suck a dick on screen?
like,
What the
I'm so
fuck?
flattered.
I
like
can
said-
demonstrate.
Not this site.
Okay, so I've refreshed. I won't refresh again until afterwards, and we'll see, because it is what it is. So if you did not vote, then you might as well not vote now because it's not going to count. So all right.
Next time I'm rigging this. I'm shipping this to all my friends in my Discord, in my group chats. It's going. Fuck this.
I mean, if they're
Yeah,
watching,
self-promotion's not
as long
rigging
as they're watching, then I don't care. They're gonna,
Sure, they're watching.
Okay,
I
all
wouldn't
right.
lie
If
to
they're not,
you.
if they're not watching,
Yes,
then
they're watching.
okay, great. So, and we'll start off with this. We would have eliminated 2 people, but unfortunately, our friend Sneaky Debate Man / Dancing Spoon, he had some unfortunate problems with his technology, with his internet. So we're only going to eliminate 1 person this round. Only 1 person this round. So starting with the person at the top, right? The one who got the most votes. Okay. Take a bow. Riverboat Jack. Riverboat Jack, amazing work. Really proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
Starting off
Thank
strong.
you.
Kyosan, I don't know what this says about you. You had the most speaking time. So,
Everyone's just mad that
despite-
they can't answer these arguments. Okay, that's it. That's it. It's fine.
Despite
You can- you can
Kyosan
stand
trying
I
there.
to
think I
take me
answered
down,
it pretty well.
taking my computer out, I came back to win.
yeah. Okay. All right. So two people are up to get eliminated, and the 2 at the bottom
And it's bullshit.
is Agent 10. And
Sneaky Debate Man got
LSP.
0 votes. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was the first one to be eliminated. Okay, all right. So you can hold on to that one at least. All right. So now the fun part, of course, is that you can spend 30 seconds. Agent 10 and LSP, you spend 30 seconds on your knees begging for Kyosan to keep you, and Kyosan will DM me who he wants
Oh,
to
no!
say.
Oh, do I keep the meme alive or? Why have you given me this power, Prime?
Yeah, why are you giving him that power, Prime?
So, Agent 10, you'll be first. Why should you stay?
Yeah, I just want to point out, look, this is going to be the perfect storm. First, we got rid of the red coat. Now we're going to continue the meme. Just give it an LSP and everything's going to be great, right? I really don't understand. It's kind of on your side, KO, for a long time during that. Okay, I was for the death penalty. I was there for you. I didn't attack you. LSP tried to do some weird thing with the government. I don't know, but hey, keep the meme alive and everything will be great.
All
Save
right.
my time.
Next, the LSP.
You could keep the meme alive, but it would be bullying. There's only so many times you can bully somebody before it's not okay anymore. I think we had a very good exchange. I think I was one of the few people who tried to attack the principle of the matter most directly. And Agent 10 just sucks at debating, so he's a total bore. But with me, you get real bans.
Oh shit!
In fact, I will extend you this. Hey, good looking, you've got the biggest arms on this panel. If you were home, I'd do you all night.
LSP, that like you just like committed a blatant lie. Like what the fuck, man? Like I am, because they like our arms might look the same, but I'm 6'3" and Keo's like 5 feet tall. So like my arms are like structurally bigger. So like,
Are you both gonna flex at the same time for us to be fair?
yes.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my god. Kyo-san's arms are way bigger. It's not even close.
That's
Tom.
fucking bullshit. I'll turn that little turd inside out in Minecraft.
Okay, all right. Kyo-san, your decision and my DMs, please.
All right.
Oh boy.
Oh, dude.
Hey.
No.
This is such a hard choice. Why?
Not as
To
hard
be
as
fair,
my
to be
arms
fair,
between
okay,
your
Kyo-san,
arms.
I gotta reach out to Kyo-san for a second. To be fair, having Agent around is fun because he is the most right-leaning person here. So I think for the sake of content creation.
Bitch, nobody
there's
asks you.
Sabotage.
I
There is
know, nobody needs
sabotage
to ask
afoot.
me.
Oh
LSP is
man.
a pretty aggressive shit lib. Like there's still gonna be some fun dunks. Like
Yeah.
LSP, you should not have drunk that Coke in the beginning of the show. I think it all came down to that.
also,
But I like to keep him around personally. Me.
also Keo, like people might lie to you that your arms are bigger, but like I have one more vote than you. So like.
That was bullshit. I don't know what's going on. Everyone's just mad that they don't have like. I think people are just mad that they can't keep up to the argument. I will take any. Listen here, chat. Right? Any of you motherfuckers want to talk about this afterwards? We can talk about this afterwards. Okay? It's still hypothetical, but it's still right. There's like reasons to go about it. There's reasons not to do it, like I mentioned before. But any of you want to argue this? Let's fucking go, dude.
Okay. All right.
It was a bad argument.
So the votes or vote is in.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Look, man. Look. Look.
Did I just watch a man get the death penalty? Like,
I'm gonna say that. You tried your best. Look, I love you. Look, I love you. I love you.
It's not funny. After 3 times, it's not funny.
No, it's not funny.
Funny.
No,
Somebody else has to be last place for a change.
no, it's not funny.
It's
Which is
pretty
why Kyo-san agreed with me. Shut up. Kyo-san agreed with me, and Agent 10, you're leaving.
Oh, shit.
So Agent 10, yeah.
would you consider that existence torture instead of just kicking him?
Now, Hans, I do want you to know my chat is telling me that they will vote for you if you break out the beer bottle trick.
I'm a suck a dick. 1 second, I'll be right back.
Okay,
No,
great.
it's not a dick. It's a beer bottle. It's different.
Wonderful. All right. Hey,
Also, I
Twitch
made it
moderators.
around. Buttons.
Okay. All right. Great. Agent 10, this is your time to shine. Agent 10, please tell the world about yourself. Tell them what they're going to be missing.
Yeah, well, you guys are gonna be missing a bunch. Hope everything else goes good on the panel. Dunk on LSP for me, please. Somewhat. Yeah. LSP, we'll talk about this later, dude. But mainly, yeah, I stream on Twitch some gaming stuff. Destiny main. If anyone plays that game, yeah, fire team up. Let's go. So twitch.tv. www.twitch.tv/agent_10_ and Twitter is agent10_TTV. So.
Okay. Thanks so
See you guys
much,
later.
Agent 10. We'd
Have
love
fun.
to have you back in the future, buddy. Have a good one.
See you guys.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
07, friend, 07.
LSP, do you have something to say to Kyo-san here? Great, wonderful. As brilliant. Whatever you said while you were muted.
Such a way.
Kyo-san, you're wrong. You were wrong. That was the wrong choice.
LSP, you want to try it again? Anything you're gonna say?
He's still muted? How?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Hold on. Did someone mute him in in Discord? No, he's not muted in Discord. I don't know what's going on.
No, he muted himself.
He muted himself.
Yeah, he muted him. Like
I see you muted there. Can you tell?
yeah, free LSP.
Something else. You're muted somewhere else. Then if not Discord.
I was like,
Oh man. If you need to,
Also,
Okay, you know what? We're gonna use StreamYard too, because you're not the only one who can do this, Prime. I'm gonna mute myself on Discord and I'm gonna use StreamYard. Yeah, here's what I gotta say. I'm gonna suck your dick later, Kiyosan.
Hell yeah, dude.
okay. All right.
Jack's chat, you'll get it when I'm done. I'm not wasting a beer.
Only do it as long as you promise to like buy a fucking ring light. Cause I'm sick of you watching you change tabs and you'll go from like pale
I'm
to...
sorry.
You've got like $1,000 worth of like panels there probably, but you haven't bought yourself a ring light. What the fuck is this shit, dude?
I'm sorry. Well, I don't like light. Okay, but I'll get something.
I don't like light either.
What are you trying to hide?
The sunglasses. Get the sunglasses, man. Just
Okay.
put sunglasses on.
Sunglasses
It's actually nice.
or blue light. Blue light glasses fucking rock. Like,
Okay.
oh my god.
All right. So we'll go to our next round. We'll go into our next round, topic 2. This will be a 35-minute long round. All right. So there has been a litany of reports throughout the years of universities not taking crime seriously, up to and including sexual assault. So, should university students be subject to a parallel justice system, or should we instead rely on civilian courts? Should university campus police even be a thing? All right, 35 minutes left on the clock. Jump in it.
I don't understand the premise. Like, why are we getting the places that can't handle these things apparently to do it? Like, I just totally disagree with that. Campus police probably do more harm than good when it comes to making people feel intimidated by their presence. I honestly like what like. Does anyone have?
Wait, really?
Some statistics on that? I looked for some statistics on that, but I couldn't find anything about like how they compare to actual policing.
Also, yeah, like
my-
we have campus police already. Like that's a thing.
Well, apparently they're
Yeah.
very scary. I don't know how. Like I've never like.
Well,
maybe this is just my white passing privilege.
They
But
are very irritating. They
write me
jaywalking
tickets.
nonstop.
yeah, they write me
Yeah.
tickets when I park in the wrong spot. Like that's the annoying shit they do. But
That's
like,
that's
I don't know
coolest
what the
thing you've done.
intimidation thing is.
My college.
Well, here's
has-
the thing: is they're often not held to the
Honestly,
same.
Lyra,
sorry.
Lyra, go ahead.
I have at my college, we do have a university campus police, but to be truthfully honest, they don't do much that the regular police don't do. In fact, they often just hand over any cases that they don't want to deal with to the regular police anyway. So all they really do is just, intimidate all the HBCU parties, to be honest.
As someone who in college got in trouble with the campus police, more often than most people do.
Oh yeah, you want to tell that story?
No, I'm not. Perhaps I could be persuaded to tell that story, but I got another one that I didn't tell you. The one that he's talking about makes me look like the most awful human being on the face of the earth. But I'll tell one that doesn't. One day, a bunch of friends and I, we got super drunk as kids do during college, and there were all these golf carts that the landscaping people used, and we hotwired one and we took it out on the street, and there were literally about 8 of us on it, and it was there were so many of us on it. It's like kind of like we were packed in like sardines.
So wait, you stole a golf cart and obstructed traffic, and you think this makes you look good?
We stole. No, hey, yeah, of course, it makes me look awesome. It was a fun time.
Pretty
but
cool.
then we rode it down a hill, and at that point we picked up a lot of speed, and we flipped over and we fucked the thing up. We were caught by campus police, and yeah, we did have to pay for repairs, but we weren't taken and brought to jail. Some people would say that perhaps we should have been. If those were normal cops, then that's what they would have done. And here's the last thing that I have to say. I'm not saying that that's necessarily morally correct or incorrect. I'm just saying that's pretty awesome that I didn't have to go to jail. And
Yeah, so here's
Thank you,
my question.
University Police.
Okay, can I respond? Here's my question in response to that. If campus police are less effective than regular police, then doesn't it make sense to just have a wider spread security presence in general without police, which are more expensive to maintain, and I guess have qualified immunity, which I'm just not okay with.
Wait, I'm missing your question. Are you saying that we should have wider spread campus security, or
Yeah, just
you're-
regular security in more numbers, since that would we could put just as much money into that as we probably do on less police officers.
Sure, I'm fine with that. I guess what I'm saying is, now that I think about it, is that even though that perhaps campus security / police officers, they perform relatively the same functions, there is something inherently less stressful than having, like, they're not they're not full on police. And it's sort of like, I don't know, like, I live in New York City, and like, I was there during 9/11, and all of a sudden there was this army presence. There were people walking there. There were soldiers walking around with rifles, and that sort of thing kind of makes a stifling, weird environment. And campus police officers, I don't know, they just, my personal experience is they are not as stuffy, hard to get along with. They don't make you feel, at least again, my experience did not make me feel as oddly oppressed. So yeah, I'm fine with beefing that up and not having actual bona fide cops there. I'm not a big fan of cops.
I don't know. I feel like the best reason to actually argue for them is like the shootings that tend to happen at universities, and like trying to prevent that with well-trained people. But if that's like the only reason, and it's actually better to not have them be militarized or like carrying guns around or something this way, then I really do think like you're better off just having security guards because of like the economics of the situation.
Let's go to Hans, and then let's go to Jack, and then Kill.
So if we're trying to deal with either like completely abolishing campus police, or allowing like regular police to do it, or just like trying to like reform the regular campus police, in this specific case, I think a lot of the problems that are inherent to college campuses, whether it's like underage drug use, which again, like, I'm not like personally opposed to, or like say the one that I said most of us are probably worried about, like, like sexual assault, trigger warning for people, like, like rape on campuses, that sort of thing. That's the thing like we're most worried about, or like some like potential school shooters, like, but like the most of the stuff is like sexual assaults that happen on college campuses. So
yeah,
in this
police aren't going to handle that, right? They're terrible for dealing with that.
Right. So if we're trying to like fix the problems that are unique to college campuses, then obviously the answer, I know we mean about like abolishing the police. I'm not gonna do that right now. I want to do like a very like libcuck position where we're like, oh, we should probably just like change how the police function on our campuses to focus on the issues that we currently have, which is like, say, less maybe busting kids for underage drinking, and more trying to either train them or have them present at environments to make sure that less sexual assault happens. Part of how you can do that with a 1-2 punch, right, is if you have them stop enforcing like drug use, or like, have some sort of like decriminalization of drugs, they can be present at like, say, parties that have like people that are like 18 and above, without like arresting people for drug crimes, while they can have a presence there to make sure that, like, say, no one is getting raped. So I think that's like probably the best way in terms of like dealing with campus police.
So when it comes to this idea of like, should we have campus police? I'm against the idea of having police on campus that are like kind of baby police, like they're playing with gloves on, and they're just more polite, but they still retain all of the institutional power of the police. I would much prefer like university security guards who are trained, who are, not wielding guns. I would prefer that over campus police officers. I also absolutely not in favor of like a parallel university justice system. That seems like a lot, and really, frankly,
Orwellian, right?
Yeah, like just needlessly complicated. When we're talking about a lot of the problems that plague college campuses and like law breaking, to Hans's point, we're talking a lot often about like sexual assault, rape, and the reason that people go to the university with claims of sexual assault and rape is because the way we know police handle sexual assault and rape is frankly really awful and outdated and ineffective. I think that if we instead reformed how we deal with sexual assault crimes, reformed how we deal and investigate, and to what extent we take seriously these crimes, because we know all over the country there are backlogs of sexual assault cases that have been reported, that have physical evidence on file, that just haven't been tested, haven't been followed up on. And frankly, like the process of filing these claims in the first place is so invasive and dehumanizing to a lot of the people who come forward. And I know this because I know a lot of people who have come forward with claims of sexual assault. And equally, I know a lot of people who haven't come forward with claims of sexual assault because they know from past experience what that's like. So when we're talking about sexual assault on college campuses, what we really need to talk about reforming is how our justice system values and goes after sexual crimes in the first place. And that also necessitates taking a look at how culture in the United States and around the world broader takes seriously the claims of sexual assault, because that also affects men, not just women, also affects men. A lot of men get raped in college too. They just underreport it because it is a very dehumanizing thing to go into the police. And I've literally had this happen to friends of mine, get laughed out of the station because they claim that they got sexually assaulted. So when we're talking about these things, that's one of the fundamental issues. I don't think people are like talking about education crimes when they're talking about the need for campus police.
Can I
so
ask
let's
her
go to-
something really quick? Can I just ask her something really quick?
Okay, after that, then kill Vadim Lura. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. What would you think about like universities having a special investigations, like not task force, but like people who are there to investigate these things and receive reports and handle them, and then present them to like the courts after it's been investigated?
Yeah,
You mean just like police detectives?
Yeah, I would feel fine if like the university system had like relationships with special members of the police department to come in and investigate claims of sexual assault and rape. That I would be fine with. I don't think the prevalence of like campus police makes anybody safer, because we know from studies that really realistically like police presence only makes a very localized area safer. Once the police move to a different area, yeah.
I'm just curious because I'm iffy on it being like this would be an organization run by the university, which clearly already has problems dealing with this. So
exactly.
I was just curious about your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to kill Vadim Lira.
So this is like a little bit weird for me because this isn't something we really have in Australia, right? So I tried to do like a little bit of reading. I got added to the panel a little bit late, but that's cool. So I knew the topics about probably like 2 hours ago, right? So I've tried to flick through Scholar to see what I can find to get like an idea of yeah. Now it seems like there's two sides to this, right? So some of this data is pretty old, like 90s that I could find that was like decent. And the newer stuff's like a little bit more concerning. So the old 90s stuff seems to say that like Sloan in 1992 found that that campus crimes are usually less violent, that there's like a lower rate of violent crimes on campus. Now Sloan has a very small data set, so I'd be very concerned about that study in and of itself. And also found from Griffith et al. 2004 found that most people were pretty happy with their campus security, right? That they found there was a low crime rate overall on campus, and that they credit that to campus security, right? The other part of this is a little bit more concerning, and this is what leans me more to my country, I guess, even though I don't really interact with the campus police, so I'm a little bit behind on this. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But basically, so Jacobs in 2015 found that campus police were viewed as illegitimate, like not real police, not people didn't take them anywhere near as seriously as like regular police. And the very concerning one is Young's 2015 report, which found that during audits, they found that campus police seemed to undercount sexual assault cases by 44%. That while they were auditing, all of a sudden their sexual assault cases went up 44%, and then as soon as they left the campus, went back down, right? Very fucking scary stuff. If this is the case, get the regular cops on there. We all understand that police need reform, that there are issues with the police in their current form, but if you've got an illegitimate force that isn't counting current crimes correctly and is undercounting something as serious as sexual assault, then fuck it, dude, get the boys in blue in there. We understand from more prior studies that generally like more cops in an area is more preventative to crime. So having these people around is probably going to make people feel safer. It's probably going to help reduce these cases. It's obviously not going to be perfect. We can never really approach like removing these things. But from like a policy perspective, just looking at these few data points, it seems like getting rid of campus police and just having like a regular police there doing regular police shit and actually patrolling seems like the better thing. Although to Vadim's point, I would agree, like on like a lived experience police, it's going to be like harder to deal with these people that for kids being kids, because kids are just going to be kids and do really fucking dumb shit. The police might be a little bit harsh, but if we've got like crimes as serious as like sexual assault, and we all remember Brock, what's his name, being
Turner.
like such a big deal.
Brock
Brock
Turner?
Turner, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And shit like that's going on like on a regular enough basis that we can count it in numbers as big as 44%. Then something needs to be done about it. We can't leave that be, especially to make like both men and women feel safer on campus.
Just please post these links in chat so I can read those too, because I'm really
Sure.
interested
Okay,
in that.
so let's go to Vadim, then Lyra.
Okay, so when I was in school, I had a roommate named Zach, and he was drinking, smoking weed, and coming down on mushrooms. And he passed out. He literally totally shit the bed. I came into the room. It was blazing hot that day. You could actually see the like vapor trails when I opened the door. It hit me like a monsoon. It was one of the most
Thank you,
disgusting
Vadim.
thing.
Thank you for this story.
And this is important. And maybe not. And when I tried to wake him up, he was like, "Dude, man, it's okay. It's my stuff. It's all right." I could not get him to get up and take a shower. So I'm bringing this up because I wish that like I couldn't call the cops, that like I didn't want him to get in trouble for being on drugs. I couldn't really call a hall monitor. Well, maybe I could have, but my hall monitor was really pretty strict. So I wish that there were kind of, I don't know, like the equivalent of social workers, people who could come in and take care of the guy who shits the bed and just takes care of small scale situations like that, rather than having to deal with someone who you think is going to bust that person for drugs. I just really wanted to tell the story about the time that Zach shit the bed. So there you go.
Thanks for that, Vadim.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you to
Thank
you,
for that
Zach.
story.
Very much appreciate it. Go ahead, Lyra.
Okay, so I'm not for the idea of completely abolishing a law enforcement presence on campus, because like as was said earlier in the stream, that it does make some people feel more comfortable. And a point that was brought up in my chat actually was that at my college campus is very small, but there are some very large college campuses in which time the response time of having a university campus police will be very different than calling the regular police, because they're far out in the city. So that's another thing to consider. However, I am much more for the idea of having security guards, because usually when there are like really severe cases of people getting attacked, stalked, or raped, those cases are passed off to the regular police. The university campus police, they may show up to the scene and take the notes, the stories, but then they pass the case off. And like a lot of times with these crimes, it's like sometimes time and getting there just a few minutes faster can help a lot, but in most times it doesn't. And like even then it can be solved with just having security guards on campus.
No.
And so I would rather just put more funds towards like having more like task forces that are set up to handle sexual assault and like domestic violence that happens on campus, because honestly I think there's other ways around than just having straight up university campus police. And also something that you mentioned, Vadim, when you were saying how you appreciated having a presence there that was like I guess like you because like you said your friend, they were like under the influence and you were very concerned about their health. There actually is an alternative to that, and at my campus, I forgot the exact name of the program, but basically we have a law in place where if you call the police or the ambulance because someone under the influence is in a fatal accident, is having alcoholic poisoning or is about to die, you could call and you will not get in trouble, even if you were also partaking in alcohol and drugs under the influence. So there is an alternative to that.
Yeah, no,
I can no. This
very quickly. I should have brought that up. I mean, I kind of brought it up sort of as a joke, but or just because I thought it was a funny story. But yes, I was concerned for legitimately concerned for his health, and I wish something like that was available at the time.
Go ahead, LSP, then Hans, and Jack.
I need a hard pushback against Lyra, and I'm sorry, love to do this, but no, security guards are not like preferable. I'm speaking from experience here.
Security guards anyway, though.
I was a security guard at a fucking university campus. Let me tell you, they don't take you seriously, right? You know what we were supposed to do when that didn't happen? We called the fucking police. Like that was our job. Like we're there
anyway, though.
And cut out the middle, man, and just have the police. Like I'm telling you, like as all these minor things that you want security guards to handle, the extent to which we handle them was we tell somebody to stop something and they don't. Because they're drunk, they're assholes, they're young, and they want to show off, right? And they want to show their asses, so we call the police to handle it. That's like, literally it every time. We do literally nothing.
So
we're there for a
period. One of the more intimidating things
what?
about police, though, is
they
their
treat our university police the same way.
So let's say these security guards can detain people. Don't you think that would change things?
Do you want security guards with the power of arrest?
It's not that out there.
Okay, so
technically everyone can do a citizen's arrest.
Dog, my training for a security guard was like a 2-hour class before getting certified. Like,
well, then I'm talking about having specialized security guards for campus universities who can do arrests.
Okay.
At that point, like they're just like really specialized police.
Like, sounds like you're reinventing the wheel. Like you're just talking about getting police.
No, they're not, because we're not giving them the weapons the police would have. We're not going to spend like tons of money on them having cars. They'll just have regular security vehicles. All they can do is take people to cells. They can't like.
Well, different classes of police.
Why would somebody submit to a security guard? Why do you think somebody would submit to a security guard if he doesn't have a gun?
I don't know.
Again, because you can actually arrest them. Because you can actually put them in a cell. Okay, but that's what oh my god, that's what I'm suggesting. I'm so sorry that this is so difficult for you.
So
it's difficult because it's stupid. I mean, this idea that people are going to submit to the authority of a security guard, not a police officer, a security guard, gunless, who everybody sees is just a security guard, just because you gave them the powers to arrest, they're not going to. And you know what the security guard's going to do? He's going to call the fucking police.
I just explained what. Let's go to Hans.
They value their right to party.
Let's go to Hans and Kyosan.
So I think
so Hans and Jack, then Kyosan. Excuse me.
So LSP and Lyra both talked about how either security guards aren't respected, or even like say the current campus police are disrespected in terms of like what they think like they're actual, like they're not real police officers, right? We've talked about this a lot in like the two abstracts that Keo linked, both like very based and information filled. I read them both; they're really nice. And part of what they talked about in those abstracts is specifically that for campus police, they already aren't respected. They aren't given like any level of authority, they aren't treated with any level of authority. And part of the major complaint about that was from college students saying, "Hey, we want them to keep us safe. That's like they're supposed to be their job, but they're like focusing on a lot of other shit, whether it's like like underage drinking or like like marijuana use at a place if it's not like say legalized there." So the best way of like dealing with campus police is not to say make them all security guards and make them like specialized like judo police officers who like who can like submit people that way and take them like to a cell. It seems like the best way is to maintain their authority as police and then reform it so that they're focusing on the actual issues that plague college campuses, which in this case is like sexual assault and potential violence against students, as opposed to like underage drug use. So that's like seems like the best way to like fix that. And so yeah, I'll throw it to Jack. So I don't have anything. Yeah, not gonna.
Well, one thing we know about police is that they already know their judo well.
Oh,
So like when it comes to like the saying goes, when it's not the size that matters, it's how you use it. And this is why for example, like numbers of police across the United States have been going down for the last few years, and also crime has been going down, at least violent crime anyway. Now when we talk about like more police on campus making us more safer, I don't think that's actually the case. However, I do think that maybe there is this conception that the only reason people listen to police officers is because they have guns. But like police in other countries don't have guns and they're still police.
Well, they also have a sense of legitimacy that security guards don't.
Right. So what I think what Ninetales was suggesting was creating like if we are talking about not necessarily university cops, because I think fundamentally like cops on college campuses would be a bad thing for everyone involved.
We already have cops on college campuses.
I know, and they're a bad thing for everybody involved.
I think they are. Okay.
I think that what we need to do is we need to have either just normal cops on campuses, or we need to have like some form of specialized university security. And that would probably involve training specialists for more than 2 weeks and saying, call the police if anything happens. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that that's not what Ninetales was proposing when she brought that up. And so I think straw manning that position is unfair.
How is it strong? What extra training do you think security guards are going to get in this situation?
But Jack specifically, we have like specialized police units already. Like we have like potential we have like mental health crisis units that are currently being made. We have like SWAT units. Why not say have like specific campus units? Because police officers, we already know like police training in America is already pretty dog shit. We can fix that and then just have like, oh, if you're say like a campus officer, maybe like an extra 6-month course like on how to like deal with specific problems that like affect the college campus. And I think like maintaining that inside like the institution of the police is probably easier than like building this new like sort of like campus security force for every college campus.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I just think that position should come with restrictions on what campus police can and can't do.
Okay, so
I can agree with that.
Okay,
yeah.
So we'll go to Kill, Vadim on the Ninetales.
Cool. So like, I don't know if that was a response to me, but like, if you look at the literature, it would be like a cursory. It would even be like a cursory scan of the literature. You would find that like more cops generally lowers crime. That it's like that makes people more safe. That like whether you like cops or not, this is just like the undeniable fact of the data, right? I do agree. That is absolutely true.
It's
do you have like, if you can find me like a meta studies that show otherwise, I'd love to see them. But I can almost guarantee you won't find those meta studies. Now the point that I was going to say was I pretty much agree with the position that like if we can get, and I'm asking for meta studies to be clear. Now if we can get to the point where we can have like specialized units, I don't know about like specialized units, but like we already have, I don't know if the US does this, but in most countries we have like cops in areas that don't need them not having guns. We don't need guns on campus, right? There are other tools you can use. I think it's like a little bit silly. I know that there was like a deductive point about judo cops, but like if generally the level of force needs to meet the level of force on in an area, right? Like the reason why the US is so like over militarized with their police is because the entire fucking nation is militarized, right? Like cops here don't have that. British cops don't have that for the most part outside of like city areas where there is a legitimate concern, where they do have high crime rates, right? So like you would obviously, hopefully, adapt your police to the area they're going to be in, right?
If you are going
to have cops.
We actually do get people who shoot up college campuses. Like I don't see this reason why college police should be unarmed, given the reality of the world we live in. Yeah, we have crazy people who shoot at college campuses.
Would
have
you
some
be
police there with
LSP?
Guns.
Would you
be like the majority?
Would you be okay with like specific like you talked about Akio brought up like specifically how you have different like specialized units like depending on like the areas and like the level of violence. If say like a college campus is like never had like a shooting, like it's in an area with like very low crime, like would you be okay with like those officers being unarmed? Like you're supposed to be like outfitted for the situation. Like I can imagine like if honestly, you're in like the middle of like, you know, like a high crime, like crazy high crime area, and like I can totally vibe like understand that yes, maybe those like people would need like firearms. But, like if you're like say a community college in the middle of like rural Indiana, which is kind of like, which is like where I grew up, like they probably don't need guns, right?
So I don't prioritize gun ownership amongst cops all that much. You want unarmed cops on campus, fine. I mean, whatever. My thing is like, what are you going to specialize them to do that they're not like? What additional training are they going to get? What are they going to be? How are they going to be functionally different from cops?
So
like it sounds like you're just making them cops without saying they're
cops. We understand like younger people have different. We have like younger people that have different needs, right? That have different ways. Like Vadim mentioned before, like kids are fucking stupid, right? And do stupid shit. And that like there's probably going to be some leniency to some way of like interacting with people, right? That you need to like different. Because like the way you talk to like people who are under 25 is going to be a little bit different to people you talk to over 25, right? And this is the majority of people on campus. They're people who aren't quite like fully matured yet, because we understand the brain doesn't feel fully forming in terms of like the choices up until 25.
Well, let me interject real quick. When you say that we want to specialize them for the sake of leniency,
back and forth between them. Like I gotta do for everyone else. So hurry up, you're back and forth, and we gotta go.
Okay, I want to understand. Like to the point of this leniency, do you mean you want officers who are lenient in enforcing the law if they come across a student who's violated the law? Like they don't. Like, I mean, like they find somebody who is using drugs, they don't arrest them for drugs. What is the extent of this?
Yeah, it'd be like obviously like leniency on non-violent crime, and like sometimes depending on the violent crime. So if it's like some kids like gotten into a fucking scuffle with another kid, right? They probably don't need to have that in their permanent fucking record.
Okay.
So
I mean, it doesn't seem too different from what cops do, but if you can train that into them, like,
but like there's got to be some understanding here.
We'll go to Vadim, Ninetales, and Lyra. And we have 7 minutes left, so we don't have much time.
This speaks a little bit to what Kiyo-san was saying, and yeah, here's the story that makes me look like a horrible human. When I was in my freshman year, I was coaxed into, my friend Clea had both a weird BDSM leather mask and an axe, and we went to a certain portion of
What are these fucking stories, dude?
the campus, and I this is probably the dumbest thing I've literally ever done. And I stood in people's windows silently with this axe. And eventually the campus police came. They did draw their guns on me, and I dropped the axe. Actually, before I dropped the axe, I instinctively put my hands up with the axe, and they were like, no, your hands up with the axe down. And so luckily they did not shoot me, but afterwards they said two things. They said, one, that was really fucking stupid and you could have gotten shot. And the second thing that they said was, you're lucky that we're not real police officers, because a real police officer would have shot you. So I know that this is like sort of anecdotal and whatnot, but I do think that there really is something to there being a difference between bona fide police and a campus police force. I think that they are going to be less likely to dispense sort of, just deadly justice, or there's probably a better word than that. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. I do think that there is some sort of like medium between campus police, or rather a difference between campus police and regular police. I don't think they're one and the same, and therefore we should just swap them out with regular police. And my cat is eating my headphone wire right now.
Well, why don't you feed the cat so she doesn't eat your headphone wire, dumbass?
I feed her all the time. It's a him, by the way.
So
please don't misgender my cat.
It's Ninetales. It's so. Sorry, I'm gonna make sure you're done. It's okay. Oh, so then Ninetales, Lyra, and then Jack and Hans. We have like 5 minutes left of that much.
Okay, I just want to point out that like student protests are a huge part of campus life. Like protesting for your rights if you're a minority or an invisible group is very important to these places being equal platforms for people to learn. And really, like, I don't like the idea that campus police can interfere with this. I think either you're breaking the law or you're not. And if you're breaking the law, and you won't stop when a security, like for example, say you're doing something that's not necessarily harmful, and this university security guard comes up and you refuse to be detained. Now they can call the cops on you. This isn't that hard. As far as the training goes, like they just simply don't have the training for the skills that they're not going to use that a police officer would use. They're different from a security guard, and we do have security guards like this in Canada for various locations, high security locations, stuff like that, where they might even have like mace or something, just one thing to take somebody down, and handcuffs. But like, they have one cell. They're not actually running like a jail or anything like that. It's not a full policing system. And it seems like, what we want is for police to be able to show people what isn't acceptable. Like if you get arrested for this, then you shouldn't be doing this on campus. And I think that that's where community policing comes in huge, because like when people can relate to police and you're not using intimidation to just demand respect, then like it's easier to talk about them talk to them in these situations. And I think like when it comes to like demonstrating what peace and order is, if that is the purpose we're going for, yes, sir, Prime, then that is like, we want to focus on community policing and what makes the police more approachable than what makes them more intimidating.
Lyra, we have 3 minutes left. Hurry up.
Sorry. So I want to go back to the scenario that LSP proposed earlier in case of like a school shooting that might happen on campus. The threat of that actually happened at my university. It turned out to be not an actual shooter, it was an undercover cop whose gun was exposed. But when someone called in, it was like, hey, I think I see somebody with a gun. The university campus police, these are police with guns. They didn't interfere. They told everyone, they sent out a bunch of emails, told everyone to evacuate. And they waited for backup from the Maryland police to show up. So even with serious cases like that, campus police will have a tendency to just wait for the further backup to come up. And like also, everyone's university is different. I don't know what it's like at yours university, but I know what it is at my university. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that most of the crimes that happen on campus are sexual assault, theft, and break-ins. Now, if we're talking about theft and break-ins, having police, when they come in, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to take notes, and then they're going to take the case back to the department. So in those cases, time isn't really of the essence because your shit already gone and your house already got broken into. But in the case of sexual assault, okay, yes, you would definitely like the security guard to come in uniform, and they're going to take notes. But more resources are better, I think, suited towards funding specialized task forces, because my university also has a task force for sexual assault. They're not like they're not for like, you know, going in and breaking up the parties. I mean, that's what the campus police do. That's what regular police can do. But there are task forces out there that can help with like students who are addicted to drugs and alcohol, and like students who are victims of sexual assault. And they go through and they give them resources, both to therapy and maybe even help them with court cause. And like so there are various alternatives that I would say are much more helpful to all the crimes that are more common on campuses.
Okay, great. We go Jack, then Hans. We got a minute left, so 30 seconds
Okay,
each.
real quick to Kyo-san. There's a meta-analysis by John Eck and Edward McGuire. Found that only 9 of 41 studies that they looked at regarding cops and crime were rigorous enough to be taken seriously. And of those 9 papers, none of them indicated that cops reduce crime. In fact, if you look
regarding
at
cops and crime, it's
a lot of other different sites, for example, Seattle's violent crime rate dropped by 44%. While it reduced its crime police force by 9%, and Baltimore added 20% more cops without any resulting change to crime. Anyway, Hans.
Did they regress the data on that?
All right, so specifically, I see no benefit in terms of having keeping these campus police forces outside of like the police force, whatever area they already exist in. We already like have the benefit of like larger organizations, larger funding, like better access to resources. Having specifically trained units inside a larger organization, like it cuts down on bureaucracy. Like having like smaller random like things having to appear themselves would be like funded by themselves, as opposed to just being part of a larger thing that can be like say inside a city budget. It's like much easier to just have say campus police special like units, and they can be trained like whatever experts, like smart people than anyone here on the panel could tell them to focus on. So I think that's the way forward, like making it campus police more effective, and like also making sure that they do the job like protecting students. And then for Lyra, just there's like I'm like also like super in support of those organizations on campus that like advocate for people or like try and help them with drug addictions or like sexual assault survivors, but that's not the specific job of the police. So I wouldn't like compare those two like right now.
Okay, all right, that's time. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.
We didn't even get to whether or not all campus police are bastards.
They are.
Nice one. Okay, all right. So, thanks so much. So again, we're gonna go into another round of voting. And to my audience, remember, you gotta vote for who you're gonna. Who you want to stay, not who you want to go, right? So your favorite. You're voting for whoever is most interesting, most intelligent, most well-informed, the funniest, most entertaining. Doesn't matter what your criteria are. Who you want to stay, who you want to keep, not who you want to kick. Okay, very much remember that part, all right? And remember, I don't know if I should say anything, but just.
Guys, I'd better not have told that story that makes me sound like an axe murderer for nothing. That's all I'm gonna say.
The link is in chat, but like, remember, like, LSP's a good guy. God damn it, vote for him. I don't know why you guys.
It's crossed into like
you all laughed at Keo. That was really unfair. It totally worked for him last time. If anything, I think you're all laughing because you're nervous.
no.
Ooh. Also, Hans, I tried to respond to you when you said it, but I was muted. But I just want to say that when I drew that distinction, I know definitely the police, like, I mean, regular police can't even handle cases of sexual assault, if you ask me. At least not in a capacity that is a lot more helpful. But I just drew that distinction because a lot of times when you say, oh, why would we take away? Well, not you personally, but a lot of times when people say, oh, why would you take away campus police? Who's going to handle all the rape cases? Who's going to handle when your dorm gets broken into? And it's just, I just noted it to be like there are other ways to take care of that, and ways that would be much more helpful.
Assuming that cops are
I-
going to put a lot of
well, it's like,
resources into that anyway.
I understand that. That's why, like, it's totally fine that they're separate, but we're specifically talking about, like, say, like the use of the police, and I can like agree that, like, obviously, like in this case, like those advocacy organizations are probably more important for like the well functioning of like students. I'm just saying, like, they fulfill like very different functions.
Different functions. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
So, I wasn't
I'm
trying
wondering-
to. I wasn't trying to diss you. I was just like, yeah.
You're
cool.
Just a question to
understand each other.
I think
Nine
that
Tails.
everyone
Real quick.
here-
I'm wondering,
Sorry.
Nine Tails.
think-
Oh
okay.
shit, sorry. Well, Nine Tails. I'm wondering, your specialized police force. Hypothetically, they come across like a bunch of party goers. They're loud, they're raucous, they're drunk, they're partying until like 4 a.m. Right, and it's a whole crowd. And there's one guy who's running it, and he's not going to shut down the party. And he says, he's just being an asshole, right?
Mhm.
Like, how do you foresee these guys? Like, what is their specialized training going to do that's going to differ from an actual cop?
We live
It's gonna
in a
differ from
Judge Dredd
actual
society.
cop.
They mow them all down.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
thought
but
it
that's
was,
the thing is like, what are like in situations like this? I've seen cops not be able to do much anyway. So I think you're asking me to solve a problem that's more inherent in like policing than anything. And like, I'm not
I've been
going
in
to be able to-
situations like this, and the cops
Yeah,
solve this.
Fleming, okay, I
problems.
live
Like,
in a
it's way
place. I'm
easier.
totally gonna dox myself right now, but I live in London, Ontario, and I live near a place called Fleming Drive. Now, this place is by a college called Fanshawe College. Here, colleges are a little bit less
Mhm.
strict than universities, and they rioted on St. Patty's Day one year. I think it was like 2011 or something like that, and that riot was like the cops couldn't do anything for that riot. So I'm just saying, like, the idea is that they're there to be able to be as a deterrent and a demonstration of peace and order until you do need cops. And just like and if we can discuss where this line lies. I don't feel like it's really a discussion worth having at this exact moment. But sure, like, yeah,
so
I prefer that they couldn't use lethal force, for example.
so back to
I think
my,
you folks
so
had-
back to my
Oh.
audience. Hey everyone, guys,
Okay.
now's the time to vote. Now's the time to vote. Jump on in. Now's the time to vote. Don't screw around now. Or you're gonna be
I
heartbroken
think
when
you
the person.
folks. Sorry.
Now you're gonna be heartbroken when the person you want gets kicked. All right. So now's the time. Vote for who you want to stay, who you want to keep, who you want to kick. Now's the time. Jump in right now.
Just to be
Don't
clear,
wait.
you want me to
Let's
stay,
go,
everybody.
Let's go,
I have
let's
to-
go, let's go.
Okay, I can't compete with that. I just want to say I feel
Have you
like out
tried?
of everyone here, I had the least violent college
Oh.
experience.
What?
Because literally, well, no, seriously,
You had
I mean,
guns
like,
pointed at you.
well,
Vote,
that's true, but literally
himbo.
the most violent thing that I ever witnessed on my college was
Oh.
a guy on acid.
Chat.
Hey, what? Oh, fuck, am I gone?
Oh God,
you're
yeah,
good.
we're doing it. Okay, but I
Hello?
gotta
Oh,
say
man.
really quick, chat. I was
Am I-
second last time after all the votes came
Am I
in.
still
So
here?
So many of you were late. You just have
Am
to
I-
vote now. Vote sooner.
You're
Yeah,
Am I
there.
still
We
here?
can Vadim, you're still
We
there.
can win this.
Go, Vadim, go.
Wait. So
go for
I was
Vadim.
just steamrolled and I wasn't allowed to talk? Come on,
I know.
guys.
Nine Tails is
What
very
is
nice.
this? Is this the America that we want? Seriously, the most violent thing that I ever witnessed on my college campus was a guy on acid punch Tony the Tiger. Literally, Tony the Tiger.
Is Tony the
was
Tiger okay?
Tony the Tiger was.
Did you go to
was
school in a
at-
sitcom?
Yes, I went to Saved by the Bell the college years. But seriously, Tony the Tiger was for some reason at our cafeteria promoting Frosted Flakes, I guess, just walking around. And this dude who is well known as an acid head and always perpetually on acid, and usually a nice guy, got freaked out and just went up to Tony the Tiger and just socked him in the face. And he had to be restrained, and he got kicked out for that. But literally, that's the most violent
That's
thing that I ever
great.
saw. Yeah. Good one.
Sorry.
That was an amazing story. And so look, I'll say this. I've already refreshed. Now I'm not going to refresh again. If you didn't vote, it's your fault, not my fault. So to Vadim, I would say like that story that you told about the axe, right? You and the first of all, like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
it was horrible. I regret it.
But no, but like the big thing is the police, right? Like them saying, "Oh yeah, they would have executed you," right? Like let's say they approached you, even if you have the axe up in the air, right? That's not you throwing it at them or anything like that, right? But yeah, they would have. Regular police, American police would have just blown you away, or maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Like depends on if they saw your skin
Probably.
color.
I was wearing a black sadomasochistic mask, so I think they would have. I don't think.
Yeah,
they
he
would have
was
any
What about
mercy
the rest
on
of
me.
your body though?
I was wearing like I don't remember. I've done a lot of acid in my life.
Okay.
90% of my memories are just dust in the wind.
So fair enough, but yeah, I think, but for a lot of police, yeah, they would think that would have been acceptable. Yeah, let's just execute this guy, right? I'm even slightly threatened, so let's just blow him away. That's American policing, right? And so that was good advice from those university security guards or whatever, right? To not do this, but still, it's just goddamn horrible. Anyway, moving forward. There's something else I wanted to say, but I forgot. Let's jump into this voting. All right. So remember, I have already stopped the count. So if you are voting afterwards now, sorry, it's not gonna get counted. It's your fault, not my fault. So number one, once again, we have the one and only River Jack at the top. Okay, all right. Riverboat Jack providing stiff competition, right? And below Riverboat Jack is Kyosan, number 2. Oh wow, look at that. Kyosan coming up the ranks. Here we go. Come on, Kyosan.
Actually, I'm number 2 if you reloaded, but
no, too late.
What's up, little man?
Too late. Okay. And
Loser number 3, Hans of Loser here. What a fucking loser, dude.
Hans isn't a loser. He's just
I think
what are you talking about? He can't even afford a fucking shirt. Like, look at this shit.
Like, this is very cost effective. Like, I can like, as I get bigger through the night, I can like undo the buttons so like I don't break anything.
Okay.
So you literally can't even afford clothes that fit. That's all you're saying.
No, I just grow faster than you. I'm sorry. I'm young.
Go to
full of
Hans of
testosterone, and
go to Hans of Arceus channel.
I can like
Please donate to him. This man can't even afford
your
a
time
shirt,
is past,
let alone
man.
food.
Future is now. Like,
Okay.
Wait, the only way we can decide this is with a lifting contest on PrimeCayes.
I have challenged many a person to a deadlift off. I know that Hans would actually take me up on it though.
let's go. You son of a bitch, once you move, I see you.
Okay. All right. So next, we'll do the bomb thing. So we're gonna 3 people will be picked. Sorry, 2 people will be eliminated, and 3 people will be up for elimination. Okay. So bottom 3. That would be Lyra, and I'm fucking heartbroken about this. Lyra, and then LSP. What's upset? And then Ninetales. Okay, so we have 3 people at the bottom, 3 people at the bottom, and they are
You
up.
guys don't like kisses? What? That's wild.
Lyra, I think you're great.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Lyra's cool. I've never met you before.
What about me? Am I cool?
You seem very chill. No, man, you were drinking Coke.
LSP, like, you know I like you. I don't know why other people don't like you. You're just a fun, sad lib. Like,
I don't get it. It hurts my
Okay.
feelings.
It's the lib.
I like you. And you tied Lyra, right? So there's that. There's like an improvement, like a massive improvement towards your votes. So,
I tied her for second to last.
hooray! So you're moving up in the world. Okay, so
Kind of.
so I let Kyo-san vote before, even though it wasn't.
I was gonna
his
say,
turn.
don't give me this power again.
No,
I don't need it again.
Don't worry, I won't. I'm gonna give it to Riverboat Jack and Hans. So they'll be the ones deciding, right? So on your knees, the bottom 3, you're going to beg these 2, right? Your queen, Riverboat Jack, for the ability to stay, right? And Hans, because remember, Hans gets a vote, which is interesting considering the things that was said last time. I'm just wondering about that. All right. So we'll start with Lyra. Lyra, why should you stay?
I should stay because I'm new. Please be nice. thanks. But also, hey, I honestly, Riverboat Jack and Hans, I just met you for the first time, and I think you're very cool. I would love to have more panels with you. I was very scared before coming on this panel, but you guys, everyone here is like really nice. Also, Riverboat Jack, I remember you on the Amazon Lily panel, so honestly, whoever you vote for, you'll always be my queen, you know? You always come out there with the stats, which I really respect because I'm not a very big stats person, so. But you know, hey, I would like to stay. I'm learning a lot. I'm kind of cool, you know? If you like chocolate, I'll give you some kisses, you know? But honestly, I'm just happy to have made it this far.
Okay. All right. She's not trading kisses for favor. Twitch. All right. She needs candy. All right. Next, we are going to Ninetales. All right. That's a fantastic speech. Thank you, Ninetales. That was beautiful.
You're muted.
Stirring. Absolutely stirring.
Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to figure out my new hotkey, and I sometimes press the other old hotkey, and I think I'm muted when I'm not. So then in my head, the switch is different than what's going on in Discord. I'm like a robot like that. But yeah, so like congratulations to the people who won. Actually, I find it interesting to see who was like on top before, and then how like that's changed so much, because it really does seem to change on Prime's panels based on like how good you do. And I wasn't, like, I'll admit, I wasn't that great on this one. I had no time to research this topic, and the little time I did spend, I found absolutely nothing. So yeah, I can't blame you. Riverboat especially, if you want to get rid of me, because like I'm pretty competent as like a social justice warrior on here, and so are you. And so if you want to get rid of your solid competition, I understand, but I also enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy Hans in general so far. So I hope I get to say.
Next, last but not least, LSP watching Shoe Stay for another round. The farthest you ever gotten.
Jack, you're really pretty. You look really pretty today. I happen to agree with Ninetales. She is stiff for competition. She has Shippo's Foxfire, which is very potent. In fact, in Inuyasha lore, it defeats the great evil that is Naraku. It's very serious business. Me, on the other hand, I keep coming in last place. I'm not competition. In fact, I flounder on topic after topic. I would be the easiest win. If you put me in your pocket and save me for later, it'd be the easiest dunk in the world.
That's a good one. But Han, you got Han. You have to beg Hans too.
You didn't fucking say it was pretty, asshole.
Hans. Your six pack. I'm sorry. Your biceps are way bigger than Kyo-san. I don't know what the fuck happened between earlier and now, but that little bitch just shrunk to 2 inches, and you were like fucking jacked.
Straight backs.
Fucking LSP out of here. Pulling things 2 inches like he ain't got the same pack, okay?
Oh my god.
Wow.
I mean,
Jack.
If I could rearrange the alphabet, I would put you and I together.
wait,
Jack and Hans, you're DMing me.
I'm DMing you like.
Do we
what
each
is
get
it?
one vote?
Yes,
It's who goes, right? Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I'm
who
dumb
goes?
as
You're
fuck.
DMing
All right,
who do you-
Himbo gang. Like, sorry, I can't listen.
Okay, yes. You're voting who you're tossing. You're on the send me a DM, personal DM. Alright, oh wow. Heartbreaking. This again. This seems like a repeat. But okay. Oh wow. Okay.
What's suspense?
The votes are in. It seemed like a bit of a repeat. For those of you who were here last week, you should have been here last week. Last week was hilarious. But for those of you who are here, this seems like a. Oh man. It's interesting that there is no what's it called when you're all together, unity. Yes, unity within the trans community, because once again Riverboat Jack is voted Ninetales off. Oh man.
Look, what can I say? Lyra called me a queen, and LSP told me I'm pretty, and in my head, that was the criteria. Those were the two criteria that needed to happen for someone to beg for my favor.
Sims win again.
I totally understand, Riverboat. It's nothing personal. In fact, like, I don't think I could have won with you there anyways, and I'm just honored that the last time I was on this panel, I got to make it to like the final round. That was super fun. Although I gotta say, you guys are missing out on some hot takes about the food stuff. But
Also, LSP made a really good point about your Naruto powers. So I am scared of the animes.
Okay.
Well, you should be, because they're not even Naruto powers.
I thought LSP's tactic to say like, "Hey, I'm not competition" is brilliant. That's like what you do on Survivor. You guys watch Survivor? That is the Survivor tactic. Take me to the end, because nobody's gonna vote for me for $1 million.
So what
That's what the successful wolf does in the pack when they're the submissive. Hey, Prime, can I actually just sign off?
Oh,
now
no,
so I can get off?
no. But first of all, he said Inuyasha, which is he downgraded her. And talk about Foxfire. Inuyasha, oh man, that's pretty rough.
Downgraded. I upgraded. That's really powerful.
Okay, whatever. All right. But here, see, this is why I got a problem. This is why we got a problem here. Because Ninetales, Hans also voted for you.
It's not personal.
No.
Like, let me explain myself.
No excuses. No excuses. I think your book says it all. No, your book clearly says it all. Okay, look. Ignoring Hans. Hey, Ninetales, that puts you in a position because two people have to go, right? So you get to decide who the other person goes with you. So between Lyra and LSP, which one goes with you? You can beg Ninetales if you like, once again, as to who will go. So, Lyra, why should Ninetales not drag you down to the depths of the dark with her?
Well, Ninetales, I know this was the first time that I was ever on a panel with you, but I actually researched and I watched the last Battle Royale. I remember seeing you on there, I was like, goals. I promise I'm not just gonna suck the dick of everybody. I promise I have confidence for every single person and you will hear the book. But I mean, it's been an honor to serve with you, and I really hope you get a panel again.
I served in the meme wars with you, my comrade. Like...
Okay, LSP.
Look, Lyra's charismatic and cute as hell. I'm not going to compete. Just kick me. I already know what's happening.
Okay.
We all know what's
That
happening.
makes us all feel sad, but like,
No, it doesn't. If it makes you feel sad, you wouldn't do it.
Good.
Well, I'm not doing anything. That's Ninetales.
Prime, you could pull moderator privilege and stop
I'm just using this for content, for sweet content. So
I
go
don't
ahead.
think you're nearly as bad as you think you are. I think you're pretty well.
Like
Everyone was
he's getting
coming
last
down on you so
place.
hard. I was like, what's up? And then I knew I was just
God damn it.
Lyra, they hate me. They're out to get me.
God,
But I appreciate the kind words.
God damn it. You're making me sad now. Fuck. Fuck. Alright. Last time. Only time. I get to say. Ninetales, you're leaving by yourself. Next time you'll get to unleash pain upon others, but
You're running out of questions. Just
Wait.
yeah, no, that's all right, because two people are leaving next round. So we'll get back on track. Otherwise, it would have been one person.
I was almost drunk on power there. I was literally about to like just give everyone a piece of my mind.
Who were you? Who were you going to? You can say it now.
You're the piece of mind.
Go ahead.
It was going to be me.
Well, to be fair, your name does say please vote for me.
I was hoping it would be like reverse psychology in this situation.
No, I'll be honest. I have reasons to vote both of you off. I don't know. I'm just glad I actually not have to make the decision because I've been in this position before and I didn't actually like it.
Well, I'm glad this happened to you, that you got saved.
All right, Ninetales, please tell people where to find you.
All right, I'm mostly on the wasteland called Twitter right now because I can't actually stream, but Prime is actually where you can find me on panels for the most part since nobody else on the internet cares about my existence. And yeah, so I'll post my Twitter and chat after I leave. I also am going to post a link. This is the place in like my Twitch channel for now to Sway Vegas. It's a mutual aid that I take part in. We raise money for sex workers in Vegas. We try to get them the cash as easily as possible because we don't want them to have to jump through hoops just to get the financial aid that they need. And it'd be really nice if you could help them out. Anyways, I hope everyone has a good night. I'm just glad you asked for me to come, Prime. This was super fun. Please, all of you, if you can, subscribe to Prime. He deserves it. He works super hard. Have a great night, everyone.
I hope to see you on
Bye.
Amazon.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's good chatting with you.
07, comrade.
It's like I couldn't kick you, LSP and Lyra. Like I totally get. Like I'm also a pretty new streamer, and like so I don't want to like ruin your like shot right now.
I mean, I wouldn't have taken it. I'm just happy I didn't get kicked out first. So make whatever decision you think is best. I do have a lot to prove.
Lyra, if you have to beg once again, I would highly suggest taking out that really rad guitar that you have and just doing a guitar
fucking
solo.
rip for us.
You'd fucking probably take the entire gig.
You're not the
whole
only
show.
one who's got some talent here, girl. We will spread off.
No.
Solo off.
LSP,
Bring it on.
Sure.
Right, there we go. Look, how's that being doing? Look at that.
I gotta refill my water. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
I have the guitar and the keyboard in the background.
All right.
Well, it's an Epiphone Les Paul. Wait, are you asking what? Oh, okay.
So we'll wait for Hans to get back, and then we'll ask the next question. Get this started. So LSP, your trap card worked once, but it won't work again. All right. So
If I bribe you, will that work?
I might. That actually might. But no. The integrity of the game must be. You can give me money anyway, but the integrity of the game must be kept. Must be maintained. So. I would be a pretty good mechanic. Like, who could just fill my pockets the most? I actually like that mechanic a lot.
Won't know if it works until you try it, right?
That'd be a pretty good mechanic, actually. All right. So now that Hans is here, topic.
Sorry for making you wait.
No problem. It's fine. Topic number 3. If food is a human right, should it be free of charge in the U.S.? All right. 25 minutes left on the clock. Go ahead.
Boom. Absolutely. Decommodify food. Okay. We don't have to decommodify all food. You can still get your luxury Pop-Tarts or whatever, but we should decommodify food for everybody to a certain extent, whether that is basic soups, milk, eggs, etc. We should have a place that people can go to where they can get food that is just free.
So to the extent that
this is a very easily, I think, remedied situation. I think that if we make a more robust SNAP program, which maybe some of you are not familiar with that's basically food. Some people know it as food stamps. That would go a very long way. Right now, usually the maximum that people can attain is around $200 per household, or I guess $200 per person, depending on the state. And a lot of people don't know this, but it happens to be the most successful social safety net program or program created by the government. And by that, I mean, for every dollar that is invested in that program, about $1.70 is generated. So it's really a win-win. There are all these claims that it's taken advantage of, and I don't think that is at all a discussion that holds, or rather a point that holds any merit whatsoever, because those instances are very few and far between. It's actually much harder to abuse than most people think. So that's my opening thought on all this.
So I'm super ready to agree with you, but the thing is, I don't care if people are abusing it. Who cares, right? That's like money they could be spending on other shit. If people are like so poor that they feel the need to abuse a SNAP program, then fuck it, dude. Abuse the SNAP program, right? I'd rather those people spending goes into other areas and can like fuel other areas of the economy. Because we still like drive it. I don't mind if it offloads the government costs, because what we want is like poor households tend to spend the most. So if you're able to move their funding into different areas, then do that, right? So like while the market does do pretty good at driving like costs down in terms of food, it's one of the best places where market forces can actually be seen, because it's easy to enter and what I'm spacing. It's easy to enter, and it's abundant, and it's able to be done locally. I would argue that like well, here we go. I might derail a little bit here. I hope I don't. Is it like we're gonna understand that like soon that we're gonna be moving away from like meat and towards plant-based food, and then if we can like somehow subsidize the cost of plant-based food as well as the transport for that plant-based food, would be easing the facilitation of people to move towards that instead of leaving it to the point where we have like Native American areas who have like massive food deserts who could never hope to get to this area in the first place.
I'm
gonna
Go
for it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
What Hans and then Lyra.
I appreciate it. So building off what Keo just said, food markets actually work like relatively well. I think something we do on top of the SNAP program that the DM already said that, which is super fucking based. If you're talking about actually decommodifying food inside the United States, right? It seems like the best way in this case, when like food can be distributed, like instead of having say potentially bread lines, I think the best way would probably be to just give say subsidies to people to buy like food, right? So instead of like say like, oh, you get like a grain ration, you get say like maybe $600 a month, like for a person and then for their children.
So basically,
like,
SNAP.
Yeah. And so, like, but I would say, like, if you're trying to decommodify inside the United States, if we're talking about it as a human right, I'm talking about this as a universal program. So, like, you have like potential SNAP for people who are like under like a certain thing, but at the same time, if we're trying to say decommodify like the needs of human life inside the United States or any place, you have to like say decommodify it for potentially everybody. I don't think that's like super useful right now. I would agree that we probably just want to like beef up the fuck out of SNAP. But like we're trying to like actually say like achieve the reality of decommodifying food in the United States. The best way to do that is through like a subsidy for like every single person.
So let's go Lyra. Let's go Lyra, Jack, Vadim.
Yes, I totally get what Hans and more so what Riverboat Jack was saying because, well, to be honest, when I first read this topic, I interpreted it as like the most extreme option, as in I thought this topic was saying should all food be free in the United States? In which case, my answer was fuck no, because so many people would go under and so many people would lose jobs. But now I understand what the question.
No.
But,
That is the question. Should all food
that
be
was
free?
the question.
Yeah.
Oh well, in that case, fuck no, because so many people will lose their jobs and so many families will
people
just be on
get
the
paid.
street.
So people get paid, right? So the government would subsidize, right? So the government pays for all the food. And
I thought you meant just make all food straight up.
No.
Okay,
Like you, you don't just like yoink it from the farmers, nothing like that.
So what if you're like like a high quality Wagyu maker? Like we probably wouldn't want to give that away for free, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I was so super against it because people do, people do deserve to be paid for their crafts. But in any case, with my answer to this topic, as we have interpreted, I am more so. While SNAP benefits are awesome, and we should definitely beef up SNAP. However, and this is coming from someone with parents who are like of caseworker programs and help people actually get on these programs. If you keep bustering up the SNAP program, the government will have a tendency to start making it harder and harder to get into these programs. So I think it would be a lot more better to increase the amount of food banks that are able and available to everyone. Because, and I know that may seem very, well, who's going to pay for all that free food? Well, it's actually not that very hard. Many churches and community centers already provide this service. So why not have more free food banks for everyone? Not just people like, because SNAP, you got to prove to them that you're on the end of your rope for them to give you that. But if you just have food banks for everyone to go to, regardless of creed, I think that's a lot better because food is a human right, and that way everyone has it available of some way to go get food, and no one has to starve.
So, small question, like so Keo like brought this up about like the like different like disparities of like food prices. Like Wagyu is like super fucking expensive, right? What would be like the cutoff for you in terms of like what food would be considered like basic essentials that you're allowed to have versus not? I think that having that cutoff would probably be pretty important in terms of like relating the system, because essentially we're saying that there's like we're having like we're assuming post scarcity for any of these goods that we say that like is free at the point of service.
So we'll go to Jack, Vadim, Kill, and LSP.
So I think we can maybe to kind of expand on my initial idea for a little bit. I'm in favor of essentially government-run food banks that are strategically placed throughout the entire country so that anyone is like within walking distance. We can eliminate food deserts that way. And basically these locations would provide people with safe, affordable, or not affordable, free food that is both healthy and nourishing. Basically eliminating the like idea of people going hungry and starving to death for no reason. And by the way, we can do this relatively cheaply. For example, it's estimated it would cost around $25 billion per year to end hunger in the United States. Guess what? There was a study that came out by the IRS not that long ago. the top 1% of the United States underreports their income by about 21%, which means that on average, every single year, they skip out on $175 billion in taxes. So just with the amount of money that the rich currently aren't paying that they should be paying, we can, like with a very tiny portion of that, end hunger in the United States. There's literally no reason for it to be happening. We produce more than enough food right now for that to happen. The main issue is it's just not profitable to a lot of companies to transport that food to different areas that need the food. So the government should step in, subsidize the transportation from places to these food banks, allowing like poor and disadvantaged people to just get food and live, no strings attached. Now, I think that overall this would benefit society, and I would have no problem either with like rich people going to the food bank to get like a loaf of bread or something. Then we can have like our grocery stores that are selling like your Wagyu beef or whatever. But
Yeah.
you can go to the food bank for like eggs if you need them, you know.
So yeah, but rich people's time just isn't worth that, right? They've got they could give a fuck about like $1 worth of bread when they could be spending their time making like $1,000 a minute. These aren't the people who are going to use these services. Like the people who are going to use them. This is what I mentioned to Vadim before. Like if you feel the need to abuse a SNAP program, you're probably in a place to use the SNAP program, and it's better to have your money go elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I would rather. Let me put it this way. I would rather that of the $175 billion that the wealthy currently embezzle every single year, I'd rather maybe that a small amount of that get wasted while ensuring that no one in the country is starving to death.
Vadim.
Okay, so I think a lot of us are on the same page here, but just in case we have some conservative friends watching right now, I'd like to take this opportunity to dispel some persistent rumors about the SNAP program. By the way, food banks, totally based. I'll just say that. But first of all, you cannot buy alcohol with SNAP. You can't buy tobacco or non-food items. People commonly think you can. And riding off of what Kyo-san was saying, in terms of gaming the system, even if people are doing that in the incredibly, I mean, it's just very difficult to do. But even in that case, the money is funneled back into our economy. It's still a win-win regardless for the most part. And, you know, the last thing that I want to say, though, is that I do think that one major way that we should rejuvenate, that maybe that's not the right word, but improve the system is currently, like, I was for a certain portion of time, I was on SNAP benefits. That was years ago. And that was when I was kind of trying to build my YouTube channel. And what I eventually had to go off it at a time when I still really needed and deserved the services. But what I had to do in order to qualify for it is that I had to go out a few times a week and get proof that I was looking for jobs. Meanwhile, the best job that I could probably get was working at Dunkin' Donuts, some sort of minimum wage job. And I knew that by working on my channel, I was eventually going to work to something better. So my point is that there are lots of hurdles and obstacles in order for people to get SNAP benefits, and I don't think that they should be there. I think we need to reevaluate the system and make it easier, more attainable to receive, aside from beefing it up in general.
Yeah. Okay. The more you beef up the SNAP program, the more exclusive it will become, just naturally, because that's how the government works.
Let's go to Kill, then LSP, and then Jack.
So my basic position on most matters is that I want the government to enter the market and compete with other people in the market, right? So like one place that we know that's pretty effective is healthcare, right? If we're having like a public option, you've got to compete with free. That's fucking hard, right? Watch yourself, Prime. I saw you just pull that fucking hand, right? But like in general markets, like if I had my way, I'd probably have like the government enter the housing market and have people have a place to live for free in like megapolis cities that are built from the ground up in massive fucking skyscrapers that live out and they're connected by public transport. That'd be sick, right? But also in the food area, right? I think we should be able to have a place where people can go, like not have a massive lines or anything, right? Like I switch out for cash, but what I'd argue is that we could just give people cash as an opportunity cost elsewhere, right? What we should do is probably have like places to go, get food. If you have the opportunity cost that you feel you need to get the food, you can get the food, right? I'd rather have that subsidized to compete with the market, where in food, markets are really good, right? And if people want to get like other alternatives, they can, but as long as we understand that the people can get food that's free, that's going to be nutritionally balanced, it's going to be well done, like one place I think is like super base. So like I don't know if you all have like Hare Krishna joints next near you, right? But it'd be basically like that. Because one, we should be moving towards a plant-based position, right? We understand even if you don't like the ethics of it, we understand it's environmentally better, economically better. Like we should just move there and get it done. And one of those ways would be to have this free food that is plant-based, right? So people can understand how delicious plant-based food is and that it's free. It helps people move over, right? Any way we can like cut down on using our meat at the moment is probably a good way.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, sorry.
You can respond quickly, then we'll go to Jack.
Oh,
LSP and Jack. LSP and Jack. LSP and Jack.
Mine was a bit longer, so I'll just go after them.
Okay, LSP, Jack, and then Hans.
Okay, I'm gonna be like the lone voice to actually disagree on this topic. I think, and it's so late in it because I haven't had a chance to talk. While I agree that food is indeed a human right, why food need be further decommodified? I don't. It's a mystery to me. I don't understand, especially in a world where the poor being hungry is consistently less of an issue than the poor being obese, right? The reason you don't want food banks to be open to just everybody because you don't want to strain those services for the people who need those services the most, the poor, the working poor, right? You can keep the SNAP program as you have it today, and as Vadim mentioned, it's economically beneficial. It helps, as Kyo-san mentioned, markets work. Right, you can still keep this, right? You just make the program easier to access based on income and improve the benefits, right? That would be like a good way to get the poor the benefits they need. That way, those who need access to food services have it subsidized, and those who can afford food as commodity don't strain those resources. I agree. Food is a human right, and it's a right everyone should have, provided they have that need. This is what helps the poor the most. I don't think it's unreasonable to say the poor come first.
Okay.
So when we're talking about the United States and food, frankly, there are 35 million people in the United States who suffer from like food insecurity and like the inability to provide themselves or their families with food. This is why the idea of like free school lunches or free school breakfasts even is such a big deal in a lot of poorer areas. Now, the fundamental issue, and to answer your question at LSP, why do I think food needs to be further decommodified? It's because, frankly, I object to there being a monetary barrier between somebody and their ability to live. And I think that we should eliminate that barrier as much as possible so that we can live in a truly just society. And frankly, there are a shocking number of people in the United States, tens of millions, in fact, for whom that relatively minor economic barrier to some is almost insurmountable. And so I think that we should get rid of that for as many people as possible. And we can do that right now with just a fraction of the amount of wealth that the wealthy steal every year from the taxpaying public.
Okay. Next, we'll go to Jack, Hans, and Lyra. Sorry, Hans, Lyra. Sorry.
Yeah. So building off what Jack and Kyo said, LSP. So Vadim said this earlier about how when he was like trying to do his YouTube thing, he had to like either choose to work or like show you that he was working. And there was a moment like where if you say like make it like too much money, then like you're no longer off the program. If we always have like say a financial cutoff, there's always going to be people that are either like potentially disadvantaged if they like make like slightly more money than like what they like could have before. So it seems like the best way of dealing with that would be like that universal stipend on top of like expanded SNAP. So again, like if we're dealing with say resources here, and we're dealing with a like because I also agree in this like food markets,
I don't disagree with this.
Okay, so I'm saying like food markets are among like you said like the most like productive like or like efficient markets. So like giving people like just cash as opposed to like bread stipends is like much better in terms of like is allowing the market to function better. I don't think this is an issue in terms of how much money we have. Like if we like how we explicitly fund it, I don't particularly care. In this case, like if we know we need to like raise like X amount of dollars, but I would say that specifically if we're talking about like broader based goals, Kyo brought this up earlier about how like we want to move people towards vegetarian-ish diets, right? So if we use this opportunity, if we're trying to subsidize food, if we want to like have some sort of like market intervention on like the side of the government, we want to like maybe hit some like multiple birds like with like a single stone, right? Like Biden's doing it right now. He's raising taxes to potentially fund an infrastructure bill. That's fucking basic shit. We're getting tax increases and we're getting infrastructure. So in this case, we can start chipping away at those 35 million that Jack said was for food insecure, while moving us towards more eco-friendly food sources. Like there's definitely benefits beyond just say like just having it like the SNAP program as it exists. Right?
I do want to update that number. I was using old data. The coronavirus pandemic has pushed 42 million people into food insecurity.
All the more reason to do this.
So 7 minutes left. Let's go Lyra, then Vadim.
So what I want to go back to is like kind of the points of worry that LSP brought up is that it is a lot of people are worried about like, oh well, if you have all these lines where people can get free food, that system will be abused because then the lines will be very long and not many people will have enough food. But that could be easily solved because America has more than enough food, and if we have more food banks everywhere, then you'll have less lines at every particular food bank. Another thing that I want to tell you about is that I'm biased because like I grew up poor and my mother would go to food banks at the local church every month to buy groceries for us. But the options there are very limited. They're very limited because keep in mind these food banks have to get food that'll last a long time. I mean, they have some food that or that go quickly, but it's like there's not a whole lot of options at these food banks. So there's not a whole lot of incentive for people to go there unless they actually truly need it. I mean, not to represent this as we should make sure the food banks have like the most basic essential food, but like as a pure result of like they have to make sure that they have enough food and that food lasts so they can give it out at the next food bank gathering. There's not going to be a whole lot of people who will be abusing this program anyway, because the people who will go there are the people who are at the end of the rope, the people who don't have that much choice, and they should still be able to get some food. And another thing I want to say is that the SNAP program, it is as Vadim was like mentioning earlier, the more that you beef it up, the more exclusive it will be. And it is already very exclusive. You have to be like, why people who go to food banks are already at the end of the rope. If you get on SNAP, you have to prove to them that you are unemployed. And if you are unemployed, then like a lot of people are caught in this cat and mouse game where like if they get a job, then they're suddenly off of SNAP and they can no longer afford to feed their children because they're working a minimum wage job, which we have decided once over
I don't know where this comes from. I'm sorry. I'll hard disagree.
This,
no, this isn't even factually true. Just there is an income level to it, and earning minimum wage is not going to get you kicked off SNAP. You're still under it.
And like, Lyra, the only thing I would push back in is that there's no like law of reality that if we make a program better, that it like inherently has to become more exclusive. At that point, we like
it's already very exclusive.
No, but what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be. There's no law of legislation that say if we beef up like SNAP benefits 50%, that they'll cut them from 50% of people. There's no reason we have to do that. If we're trying to actually solve the problem, you have to both expand the benefits and expand the number of recipients. That's how we're actually going to tackle
or expand
this.
access.
Why go through all those hurdles? We could just have food banks that are welcome for everyone to go to.
Okay, so do I get a chance now?
Sure. No,
Yeah,
fuck
go
you,
for it.
team.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So I think that there's a few things that I'd like to add to the mix that we haven't considered that should just be thrown out there. One is that crime rates lower with the access to food. I've been looking, just kind of done some perfunctory searches. I found some papers that show that suicide is lower when people have access to food. So that's one thing. I think there was one other major point that I had to bring to the table, but you know what? I'm forgetting it right now. So somebody else put me out of my misery and talk.
So like, this is all of the problems Lyra brought up are exactly why I believe in like decommodifying food and having these open food banks, like that federally funded food banks around the country, strategically placed so that people can get to them, because there are all kinds of means testing policies that end up getting people out of the system who still do need help. Like, and LSP, I know that there are safeguards against that, but the issue is people fall through the cracks all the time.
This is an argument for reforming. This is an argument for reforming those safeguards. Then,
but the fundamental problem is that, or not really fundamental problem, but to Vadim's point, there are very tangible benefits for us to just eliminate the like monetary barrier altogether. Lowering suicide rates, lowering crime rates, lowering lowering suicidality. Like these are things that fundamentally improve the rest of society and have knock-on benefits. For example, if someone kills themselves or if someone starves to death, they can't really contribute to the taxable pool of people, can they? And so, like, this is kind of a crappy argument because I feel like at the baseline, we should make a society where we aren't having people who can't buy food.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
I do recall the other point that I had that I just want to say very quickly, which is that it's really disgusting that we have a public school system, or certain public school systems that we have do not offer food to children. And really, we need to recognize that there are so many. I mean, that can become a developmental for humans. They can literally, grow up to not reach the potential that they would have been able to if they were nourished, both because of things that could happen to their physiology, and then also because the fact that they won't be able to focus within school and achieve all that they could otherwise. So that's another very important thing to factor into all this.
Yeah, let's work together so we can illuminate those feel-good stories about a billionaire stepping in to fund school lunches for kids for like a year. Okay,
Yeah.
How about we just fund that and fund school breakfasts too while we're at it? Let's just do
and
that.
after school snacks. Let's go.
Yeah, boom.
Feed the kids.
Yeah, and food banks are already in existence. They're pretty. There are a lot of food banks, and they help a whole lot of people who fall through the cracks of the SNAP benefits pool. So, why not just expand on that? Just put more food banks everywhere.
Everywhere.
So, like, one thing that was like really interesting that was brought up by someone in my chat was that people don't necessarily always want to go to food banks. It's actually kind of like a shameful thing. It's like a big stigma around it, right? And these people actually end up like robbing it instead of like getting food, right? So a big part of this has got to be like, how do we remove stigma around food banks? How do we remove stigma around taking these things? There's a lot of people who don't even take government assistance because there's like a big stigma, like it's shameful to somehow like take help from the government. When really we should be understanding that the government is responsible for the health of its citizens, and if you need help, it's there for you to take it. Let's go, right? And one of the things I suggested was like maybe we could look at like making these instead like cultural centers, right? Where like people go down on like a Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday night, or whatever, right? And go down and get a feed, right? You got like the Hare Krishnas there serving up like some sick like potato bake, dude. Get some like lentil dal, dude. Lentil dal's a big fucking slapper. Let's go, right? Instead of like somehow creating like community areas where we encourage people to go down and get free food. And you can go down and hang out and meet your community as well. Because like one of the other problems we have in society in a big fucking way is like community fracturing and the removal of like community centers. That like unions and churches and things like these used to be big centers for like culture for people to like meet and hang out and gain community, but just don't exist anymore, right? That like we could also hit like two birds with one stone. Fucking whack. There we go. Good shit.
Also, let's just say, you know what? Everyone should have food and water in a just and equitable society. And frankly, the founding fathers agreed, because the number one thing that they said in the Declaration of Independence, and I'm a huge, huge, huge patriot, they want to guarantee the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And for all of those things, you need food and water.
Okay, that's the round. All right. So we're
True
going to
patriots drink Coke.
We're going. Oh boy.
True patriots drink water. It's better for you.
Well, you better hope the team doesn't win this round, because if he does, all right.
Why I oughta.
So to my audience members, we are going to go to another round. Again, you're voting for who you're going to keep. Not kick, not kick, right? Who you want to stay. Doesn't matter what your criteria is, right? Just whoever you like the best, right? That person, you're going to vote for who stays and not who goes, voting for who stays, all right? So once again, we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. And so go ahead, vote now. Don't vote later. Vote now. Don't vote later. I mean, vote later too, I guess, but also just vote now. That's just simpler. We do it that way. Okay. So to my audience members, there's 5 minutes left on the clock. If you've been enjoying this, if this is your first time here, you're just stopping by, well then do me a favor, hit that follow button, hit that notification bell, so you know I'm going live. We do this 6 days a week. 6 days a week we give you content. This, well, we don't do this particular thing. We don't do the game show 6 days a week, but we do this once a week. But the other times. We have other panels that are pretty interesting. We have an open panel where honest members like you, yes, you sitting at home may participate. Okay, so if you've enjoying this, please hit that follow button and that notification bell so you know I'm going live, and also be so kind as to sub to the channel. We give you a lot of content I think we deserve, we earn, excuse me, that money. So if you haven't done so already, yes, sub to the channel, or use your Twitch Prime, donate bits. You can also use our PayPal button below. We have a PayPal button that you can use, or donate in chat is a great way of doing it. If you don't, if you're on mobile, donate. And we have a Patreon, Patreon. Let me know what you guys want from the Patreon. No one actually, like, 2 people have actually, oh, thank you so much for using your Prime Gaming, Daft Doty. That's really kind of you, to do that. Thank you for that. Yeah, so, go to the Patreon, help us out. I think we still have, like, 8 or 9 people. It's been, like, I haven't gotten any, like, last week, so hopefully, we can improve on that. Patreon's another place that we're trying to find some growth, but we need your help to make that happen. Exclamation about YouTube, because we have our YouTube channel. We're growing. We're not big timers like Vadim here. We're awfully tiny kids on YouTube, but we're trying to grow that platform. Go to YouTube. We'll have our bots, we have our clips and all that stuff. So yeah, help us out. Thank you, that Boston guy, for also using your Prime Gaming. That's awful kind of you. Okay, so remember to vote. Now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it.
Vote, please. Vote Hans.
Vote.
I doodled. I made it. I made it.
I notice I have 2 votes.
Mom, Dad, do you want to put this on your fridge?
Let's go.
I have to say, I think
stole
I'm
his
gonna-
machine over there. He
I
made this.
I have to say,
Beyond. Speak louder.
hey, I think I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here because I think I'm the only one here who's not a streamer on Twitch. So, yeah.
Neither is LSP.
You're like a fucking decade-long, like 50,000 sub Andy. What are you talking about? You could like mobilize your
Why
audience.
didn't you like make a poll or something on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily translate to something like this. A lot of people have no clue who I am. I'm just some dude who told a story about his roommate shitting his bed.
You're advertising this to your YouTube audience, right? You're like putting it in the community tab, letting them know where you're gonna be.
I
put
should.
posts on Twitter.
Unfortunately, I did not know about this. Like I was contacted about it, but I did not know about this until literally about 2 hours beforehand. So folks, I'm doing this like with no prep whatsoever. I don't know if that helps me or hurts me by admitting that. But vote hey it's Vadim.
Hey,
Can I, also really quick, someone in your chat, Prime, asked a question that I think, although it may seem like kind of a dickish question to some people, I still think it is a very important question to ask. And they asked, why is anyone owed the necessities for life? And what my answer for that question is that the whole reason we have government in place, the whole reason that the concept of the state exists is to increase everyone's quality of life. The job of the government is to sustain order. And why do you want order to be sustained? So that we can have a greater quality of life. So it is the function of the government. It is the duty of the government to make sure that people have a healthier life. And in order for people to have a healthier and happier life, you do need things like housing, food, and just basic human rights. So I do think there is an answer for that. It is not just because.
Okay. Yes, everyone, vote now. You have seconds left on the clock. So that was a great speech by Lyra. Maybe that'll affect your decision.
I need 2 more votes.
Thank you.
I need 3.
So okay.
No.
The link is
Let's go. Vote code. Get a fucking monk syndicate 2 time.
The link is in chat.
Hey, Keo. What's up, man? How you doing back there?
We have 4.5 minutes. We have 4.5 minutes left in our hype train that we just started. Thank you. First of all, thank you the 2 Daft Doty and that Boston guy for your Twitch Primes, and then Leah for finishing off and starting off that hype train. The third donation of 5,000 bits. Thank you once again, Leah. Oh man, you've been really good with those bits lately. Yes, 5,000 bits. So we are level 2 hype train. 4 minutes left on the clock. 4 minutes left on the clock. You can help us out. Get us to a level 3 hype train. 25% left of the level 2 hype train. Can we knock it out? Do we have any more heroes in chat who can help us out on this level 2 hype train?
Give him money.
Yeah.
Do it. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you so much, and thank you for continuing your gifts up, Splinter, that you got from K-Dog. Oh wow. But yeah, thank you for continuing that, and we're almost at 88%, and I can't babysit this as I usually do because I got to do this thing. So if you can help us out, Leah, excuse me. Thank you for gifting Hot Tier 1 gifts up to Hans. Hans a good guy here.
Dude, now
yes.
I get something to one of my favorite channels. This is awesome.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Let's go.
And so yeah, now we're at a level 3 hype train. Can we get to level 4? 4.5 minutes on the clock. Please help us out. Okay, so we'll continue on with the voting. Got to respect everyone's time here. Oh, I didn't get to refresh before, so I'm refreshing now. So some extra votes got in. All right.
Come on, guys. Level 50 height.
Just to be clear, Prime, it was
Level
kick, not keep,
50.
right? Kick, not keep.
Yeah, so it's kept. No.
Hey, don't you play these games with me? I'm barely functioning right now.
Okay. Thank you, Worst, for gifting 500 bits. All right, back to it. Oh, and your environment, Seattle, for resubbing. Okay, back to it. So, at the top, right, it seems like the answer is clear, right? The answer is not vote Kyo, it is vote Jack. Jack cleaning up non-stop, right? And then what happened to Kyo? What happened to Kyo? Oh, well, he fell. He fell. He was replaced by Hans, a person with apparently bigger muscles, according to democracy.
This man using a shittier camera to make his arms look bigger. What a fucking
Oh,
hoax.
man.
Shittier camera? What are you saying?
I can do this too, right? We'll hit the zoom,
Keo,
right?
Keo,
Hit the zoom.
Keo,
Look at how
Keo,
big.
Keo.
Look at how big my fucking muscles are now. Look at this shit. Okay, look. Oh, now I've got
Hans,
big
he has a
muscles.
Point, you need
Keo,
a better camera.
You have barely any hair under your armpits. That's
I shave. Like
fucking bait. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Keo over here.
Like,
That beta male with his tattoos trying to compensate for his lack of armpit hair. It's humiliating.
I have a lack of hair in general. Have you not fucking noticed?
So,
Keo, don't take this personal, but if you come into me, I gotta come at you. I'd say eat my ass, but your beard already looks like shit.
oh, wow. Man, this is rough. Oh man,
I love you. I'm sorry.
This is literal beard jealousy because I know that you can't grow a beard,
I
okay?
can't grow a beard.
If you could grow a beard, you would, okay? Don't fucking tell me
My
that.
beard
like,
grows in black.
having
I look like a
three hairs,
bumblebee.
having
I'm
3
blonde.
hairs on your
It
face
just
does not
doesn't
count as a
work.
beard, okay?
So-
You're like platchy ass like shit.
Thank you for the 100 bits PB success. And yes, we have 21% done with the hype train. So 79% left. We have 2 minutes left on the clock. 2 minutes left on the clock. Can we get it up? Thank you, Virus, for gifting a hot tier 1 gifts up there. Okay. So we have 70% left. Can we get to a level 4? Please help us out. Help us out. Do we have any more monsters, any more heroes in chat who can help us and support this channel? Keep it alive. Donate bits, donate subs, or sub yourself if you haven't done so already. Of course, you get ad-free viewing and you get emails. I'll share some emails, extra emails in chat. So find out what you get. All right, moving on. While we're waiting for that, hopefully someone will help us out. 90 seconds left on the clock. So back to the voting. So yes, Erbo, Jack, and Hans stand at the top, and at the bottom,
King and Queen, what's up?
the bottom 3, it will be, hey, it's Vadim. Hey, buddy. Kyo-san. Oh man. Oh, that burns. That burns.
The mighty have fallen.
And
Replaced by something better, newer, younger, stronger.
Literally aping my bit too. What the fuck is this shit? Like literally a worse, younger version of me.
Okay.
Not nice.
Whoa.
Maybe get some tattoos, lose some fucking hair, and you'll be half the man I am.
Why can't we all be nice to each other?
I'll show you the picture. I shaved my head at the beginning of COVID. Was not good. Was not good.
Yeah, because you can't grow facial hair because you're half the man I am. Even
No.
though I'm at fucking 5'3". Let's go.
No, it's because I look like a gigantic
wait,
skinhead. Like, it's just not
Theo,
a move.
You're
like,
5'3"?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Short king.
Hell yeah.
All right.
we do love our short kings.
We stand a short king, okay?
We stand all kings, but also short kings, okay?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Just quickly. First of all, yes. I didn't know you were 5'3". But yeah, we love you. No matter what size you are, buddy. God. Thank you, Corrupt Wanderer, for subbing yourself. That's awfully kind of you. And then the monster Leah strikes again with 38 hot tier 1 gift subs to the channel. 1,410 subs altogether lifetime, and followed
Leah's
by
the real queen of this panel.
I would think so. Followed by Essay with 10 hot tier 1 gift subs to the channel, and which was how many? 106 lifetime. Thank you. We've crushed this hype train. Thank you so much. That keeps this alive. I'm sorry I interrupted this, but like, you know, we gotta get that help anytime we can get it. Thank you, Lady Arion, for also using your Prime Gaming. That's really kind of you. Everyone, seriously, who helped out. And after this is done, I'll beat out my top 5 gifters. But thank you all for being so kind as to help with the channel to keep it alive. If you guys want to jump in and grab those exclusive emotes, right? All the heavy lifting has been done for you. You can throw some bits into the pot, and you can grab those emotes for yourself if you want them. But thank you again for all the kindness and support. All right, back at it. So
you need Rat Dog, you need Monkey. They're the best emotes on fucking Twitch. Only Prime has them. Okay, we're Rat Dog gang around these parts, to be fair. But Monkey's also a pretty sick emote. Okay, get the Rat Dog, get the sub, get in now. Hype train, let's go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh man. We don't talk about Rat Dog and Monkey here. Back to back to it. Okay, sorry for making you guys wait. Thank you for being so kind as to wait up for me. All right, so we're doing voting now. At least we're doing begging now because the bottom 3 will beg the top 2, right? For forgiveness to be allowed to stay. So, Vadim, why should your queen, and you should refer to her as a queen, Jack, keep you around?
Jack, first of all, this is my first time ever partaking in a Rumble. I feel like I've done a fantabulous job. I had no clue of what the topics were. I pulled a lot out of my ass in the previous conversation where we were talking about cops, because I didn't know anything about that. But I dazzled people with my stories, and I have more to share. I've got so much love inside this husk of a body that you see before you. And honestly, I think I humiliated Kyo-san because he's a streamer, and he had that graphic vote for me, and I have barely any following whatsoever on Twitch, and yet somehow I blew him away with one whole vote. Man, I deserve a cake or something. So yeah, Jack, also, by the way, you look stunning today. And your hair is just, I mean, do you use Pantene? I'm mesmerized. So yeah, folks, I leave it to you. If I leave, then thank you for having me. Prime, it's been a pleasure. But seriously, Riverboat Jack, vote for me. I mean, don't vote me off because I'll make it worth it somehow.
Okay, all right. Remember everyone, when you're begging, include Hans here because he also has a vote.
Yeah, what's up, man? Like, I'm a little disappointed. Just show me a little something. You don't have to beg. You just gotta show a little strength.
I didn't realize that. I would have sucked up to you as well.
What you got for me? You got one sentence.
You look like 2010 Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's the ultimate era. Okay, that's a real compliment for you.
I'm too young for that, but like, I'll take it, man. I appreciate it.
How are you too young for the Red Hot Chili Peppers? What
I
the
was
fuck?
like 13 in 2010.
Who isn't enjoying Red Hot Chili Peppers at 13? What has happened to this world?
I remember like one song. Wait. Like, is that like the Tonight song? Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can stay.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So
Teach me music.
So, Kyo-san, after criticizing Hans, begged him to not boot you off.
Hans is a sub dude. I'm just gonna keep criticizing him. He'll be all for it and send me the vote for it. Okay.
Alright.
Look, real shit though. Like Hans and Jack, we're a part of the Twitch worst generation. Okay, that's one for you, Prime. Okay, look. Like we're the upcomers, right? We're the hard out group. We're fucking always helping each other out, you know, the big homies, right? Get these fucking YouTubers out, right? These YouTube lameoids fucking pretending to be Twitch streamers. Get them out. Get them out over the wall, right? We kick them out. We don't keep them here, right? They're gone, right?
Kyo?
Like Vadim might make some incredibly funny content, some content that I've rewatched multiple times over, right? LSP might make some incredibly good content on YouTube, but that's on YouTube, boys. You get the fuck out of my zone, right? Hans and Jack, they know where the loyalty lies. They know they're behind their big man, right? The big Aussie man.
Kyo,
The big 5'3"
Kyo,
man.
I
Okay?
need you to answer a very
stay
simple
mad.
question for me. How much stronger am I? Not that I'm not stronger, it's just like by how much? Give me a percentage.
You already know, so you already know that short people are generally stronger than taller people, right? You're out here calling yourself like some... You've got to pull weights a lot higher than I do, my dude. You ain't stronger than me.
And I
Get the
still
fuck
move
outta
more
here.
than you.
Oh, amazing. Okay, all right. LSP. Why should you stay?
Hans, Jack, you both look lovely. I wrote you a song. It's in the style of blues because I'm sad. And I'm sad because I've gotten last place again. So it's just going to be like a little blues solo. And it was a good.
How are you going to lose so many notes and beg for it here?
You're distracting me! Fuck! So that's what it is. There you go.
Okay, all right.
In blues, but it was like muddled because I'm
That was
shaking
cool.
and I'm sad.
So, Riverboat Jack.
Myra, you are so lovely.
Riverboat Jack, have you ever been serenaded before? I don't know because it's just
yes,
not the-
I have.
Oh, okay. Was it better than this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, never mind.
It had lyrics. It had lyrics.
Okay.
You'll make my cat sad if you kick me.
Riverboat Jack.
Theme also has a cat.
Riverboat
Yeah, I've got
Jack.
like 3.
Send me that
I don't mind.
DM. Send me that DM.
Really good brother.
Hans is already voted. Riverboat Jack. Who is being tossed? Okay. Well, it's about that time. All right, the votes. Oh man, the votes are in. The votes are in. As always, these things are heartbreaking. They can also be hilarious. Because of course Hans voted kill off. There was no choice about it.
There can be only one! And I'm
You're
sorry!
done. You're done.
Kyo,
You're on the shit
Kyo,
list.
You're my friend, that's why it had to
You're
be
on the
me.
shit list.
you
You're on the
deserved
shit
it.
list. You're done. No, you're done. You're done. You're blocked. I'm
You're
blocking you
literally
on
my
Discord
second
right
recommended
now.
channel! Like, I
Yeah.
host you like more than almost anybody else. I love
You're
you!
banned. You're blocked.
I'm
You're so
afraid!
blocked.
Like, dude,
I'm banning you in my chat right now. You're done.
you have an hour. Like, you know, I finally like got my second win and I beat the fuck out of you. But like now,
Fucking gang,
like I don't
gang
want
Veggie
you.
has come
Get your
behind,
second
right?
win.
With the
I'm
fucking
cutting
assassination
the
attempt. I
power
can't believe
together.
it. This fucking
the
no
game.
shirt motherfucker is trying to come up on my
Oh,
shit.
strategy. I'm here to fucking win. Yeah, that's right. Chat, I get it. I look like a fucking stripper. I don't give a shit. Look at me. Do you see this? I've like taken off a button every time I've survived a round. We're at one button. We're taking this all the fucking way. Trying to pick off that last button, and for that, Kyo has to be gone.
I can't wait to watch you lose this fucking panel, right? It's gonna be. I'm gonna deliver in this, right? You're gonna get a Twitter message from me later of me laughing, reacting to you being kicked in the next round. You useless child. Half the man I am. I go out with dignity.
Even if I lose, I still lasted longer than you.
Wow.
That's not what she said.
Phrasing.
It's 5 seconds. 3 seconds, but I'll still take the W.
This ain't a W. This is an L for you, and then you're gonna feel it later on. Okay.
I love you. I'll make it up to you later. I promise. I'm so sorry.
Guys, just get a room and kiss already.
I really like you. He's really cool.
Yeah.
If you like me, you wouldn't kick me.
Everyone, if you haven't fucking followed Kyo, you better fucking go right now. My brother's almost to 700 followers. Fucking push this man over the edge right now.
can't believe it. Don't shout me out. No, I don't want anything from that. I don't want anything from this fucking Judas. This poison chalice.
I love this. Damn it.
This is amazing.
This man told me that for 3 pieces of silver that isn't going to be buying anything because inflation has made us so unable to live on 3 silvers these days, okay?
Okay. Kill.
Do it 30 pieces, not for nothing.
Kill. Your
I'm
link
mad.
is in chat.
I'm too mad.
Tell the
I'm
world.
too mad.
Okay.
Okay, right.
This
No.
isn't an execution.
Okay, so
I'll tell
We're
the
lighting
world
a
about
fire
you.
for a Viking funeral.
Kill, no, I'll tell the world about you. Kill is amazing. Kill is one of our best panelists. Like seriously, right? Like every time Kill comes on, like I know I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna enjoy myself, and the audience is gonna enjoy it. Because even if Kill's on the other side of me, from an argument, you know he's bringing facts, right? And you know he's gonna argue it well, and he's gonna argue under the table if you're not ready for him. So he's always amazing. Like I'm always literally impressed with him, and I learned something. Even if I disagree with them, I still learn something every time. So everyone, you gotta do yourself a favor, not me a favor. You're not doing him a favor. Do yourself a favor, and go and sign up for Kyo's Twitch page. Go follow him. That's Kyo's link in the channel. I'll shout him out one more time. Please, everyone, go follow Kyo.
Also, I put my band's link in the chat. If you could actually listen to my music, I'd be very hyped for it. We just released this last week, and I'm very proud of it. We worked really hard on it, so don't listen to that one. Listen to it for my band. I'm really proud of it. I appreciate it. By the way, make sure you follow all the other panelists on the chat as much as I was like having fun and having a bit of a joke around. They're all really, really good content creators. Really good content creators. Especially Vadim. It was actually super sick to be on a panel with Vadim. I wasn't joking before when I said I'd rewatched a whole bunch of your stuff.
I have to say something, and this does not sound, or rather, this is going to sound bad, but it just hear me out here. I'm elated that you are leaving because I think that you are such like fantastic competition. I feel like I like got like a real windfall here, or is that the right word? I just it's like some competition is just leaving the room. It's like Survivor. Like I said it before. It's like, you know, the guy that you think is kind of like the favorite to win is leaving. And so like I honestly, what I'm saying here is that you did a fantastic job. You're hilarious, and I'll definitely, you know, maybe we can have some conversations in the future.
I'd love to, man.
Yeah.
No, it's been
I was much
so
a little bit aggressive in the panel because it's panel time, you know.
Everyone, I just got to 420 followers.
Nice. Great.
Let's go. Light
right.
this shit up.
Okay.
Like I lit Kyo on fire.
So, all right.
Again, half my followers, half the man.
So the next person to be eliminated, right? Voted by our illustrious Jack, MVP Jack, right? Who was also quite a vicious woman because she didn't give a shit. LSP. The bell tolls for thee. LSP.
Because I flubbed that solo, isn't it?
It's also because Vadim just had better compliments for me.
Oh.
What the fuck? I didn't kiss your ass enough?
No.
Okay.
And he has 3 cats to your 1 cat.
Firstly, I have 2 cats, and Vadim is only kissing your ass because he wants to stay competitive. I was kissing your ass because I genuinely think you're cool.
I think she's genuinely lovely, and
Hey.
it seems like she's also very well informed. By the way, I do forgive you for the Coca-Cola thing. So if that makes you feel any better about getting booted, then you know
Why
at
the
least you
fuck
don't
would that
at
make me
least-
feel better about getting booted?
I don't know. I wouldn't sleep well at night if I got chewed out for drinking Coca-Cola by me.
It's easy to be magnanimous when you won. So.
And LSP, I know you think you did bad on that solo, but listen, you're a hell of a lot better at your guitar than I am at bass. So honestly give yourself a lot more credit.
Let's jam sometime. I was like shaking while I was doing it. I was so bad.
Okay.
But let's jam sometime. I actually do know how to play. I didn't show it very well, but I swear I know how to play.
So LSP, you got
Major
farther
props for that.
than you ever did. Part of it was through cheer begging, but you managed to
It was like rounding first base, and it's good enough. I didn't do that until I was like 23, so I'll take
that, like,
it.
K-Mac, has anyone watched that K-Mac 2021 video of him like playing the Through the Fire and the Flame solo without learning it?
So I guess that LSP stands for Lost Saturday's Prime Show.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really bad, guys. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
That's
Script
gonna
the bottom of the
be
barrel.
something in the
Can we
next
kick
round.
him? Can we take 3?
No, sorry, my friend. LSP, tell the world about yourself.
LSP, I love you. I have to use the bathroom. Have a good night, man. You're awesome.
Peace out, dude. Enjoy your piss. Okay, instead of telling, I never do this. I don't shout myself out. I'm gonna shout out Vadim. He has a video on his channel about The Boys, and it's a really good deconstruction of like all of the kind of neoconservative themes of The Boys and like how it's done. It's a really good video. I enjoyed it very much. It got me into watching The Boys, and I really enjoyed the show. So if you're that video is criminally underwatched, and I aim to fix that. So those of you watching now, I'm gonna link it in chat. Go watch Vadim's video. It's The Boys, and I don't know. Fuck you, Vadim. Actually, you beat me. You link it, you lazy shit.
Sure, I will. It's called The Boys in American Exceptionalism. It kind of dissects themes of American exceptionalism within The Boys. But anyway, I don't want to take away from your goodbye discussion chat.
My discussion was shouting you out. But yeah, that's it.
You
Thanks.
should also read
I really appreciate that. That's really. By the way, right back at you. I think LSP is criminally undersubscribed. He's a nice guy. He gets a lot of shit for some weird reason from some people, but he's a great guy.
It's not for some reason. I know why I did. But I mean, it's all cool. It's all cool. I like everyone here. I like you, Prime. Riverboat Jack, you're cool. Hans, you're cool. Lyra, you're cool. Vadim, fuck you. Kyo, you're cool.
Oh no!
Everyone should also read the Boys, the comics. It was great. I love those, especially if you're into comics yourself. You're gonna love them even more, right? It's even the show and the comics each have their strengths. But anyway, sorry. Thank you both for being here, Kyo-san and LSP. But no time for losers, because we are the champions. Off you go. All right,
chat. What's going on?
And then
Wait, I'm out of the room, am I? Yeah, I've been kicked. Good. Wait, no. Okay, I'm sorry.
You can leave the in the Discord. Okay, great. All right. So thank you all. And that was that elimination round took fucking forever. Holy shit. A lot of things happened.
Bye, LSB. He really is a great guy, guys.
Yes, I actually do like him a lot. I do mean that. So we have a final question, and then this is our final round, because after this we'll have an elimination round. But when you vote, you're voting for who you're going to win. Who's going to be the winner, the person to take the crown. So this is the final round. Okay, topic.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's a good song. No, it makes sense. You should have told me for that. No, it's a good song. All right. After esports, our esports. Sorry, God, I wrote this completely wrong. Why did I? What? Should esports be considered actual sports? I'm sorry for watching that. Should esports be considered actual sports? Should they be included in the Olympics? Okay, 15 minutes left on the clock. Jump at it.
Yes. Are you fucking kidding me? No way! I'm more of a boomer than a zoomer. Okay, so I know I'm gonna alienate some people. Probably not get votes for saying this, but there's so many sports that we don't have. We don't have American football. We don't have dodgeball. What the fuck is up with that? We don't have water skiing, lacrosse, croquet, polo, and we're gonna put in. These are all athletics sports. Maybe not croquet. Croquet is kind of that's for octogenarians, but I don't know. And I kind of think of the Olympics as being something where someone has actual athletic ability, not just purely cunning and just skill, hand dexterity. It's what?
I mean, I agree. As funny as it would be to see just a slew of all the super buff and super cool fit athletes who got the golden champ, and just see one 16-year-old kid who's really good at Call of Duty standing up there with them. As funny as it would be to see that, esports, they should not be in the Olympics because, as Vadim said, there are a lot of sports that are not in the Olympics. Furthermore, listen, I think esports should have their own Olympics. I don't want to forfeit them into the Olympics because it's like, you know how cool games and how well-versed games are. So why forfeit them into the one category of the Olympics when they could just have their own, and they do have their own competitions. So I don't think esports should be in the Olympics.
Okay, counterpoint though, we have sports like luge and curling in the Olympics. Okay, now when we think about sports, those probably or bobsleds.
I don't think you know much about luge because luge is actually an extremely difficult sport to master.
Well, I don't think you know that much about esports because a lot of esports are an incredibly difficult skill to master and involve many different skills.
But they're not standing in front of a computer with a joystick. There's athleticism. People train their bodies, not just train their brains.
People have to train their bodies.
Their
with
brains.
Too.
So then why not put in chess? Why not put in Candyland? Why not
I think
put
we
in
should. I think we should put
Why
in
not
chess.
put in Monopoly? Why not put you think
Hans, are you talking to us? Because you're muted. I hope you understand that.
Yeah.
Why not put in
no! All right, wait, Vadim, I've been waiting for this. All right, so everything.
Why not put in shoots and ladders, motherfucker?
All right. So you're just gonna be bad faith. So let's tear this down. Like everything you've said about how there's a lot of other cool stuff that has not been in the Olympics. So everyone, personally in chat, one, gamers rise up because I'm representing the fuck out of you right now. We're to get our shit in the Olympics. Two, I'm also a power lifter. A lot of powerlifting is not in the Olympics. A lot of strongman, which is an extremely intensive, extremely skill-oriented sport, is also not in the Olympics. You also said dodgeball, and that's an argument for more inclusivity, more sports that are cool, that people like watching, that need to be in the Olympics. And yes, I can understand.
Powerlifting is in the Olympics, you dope. You disqualified for not knowing that. I just looked it up. It's in the Olympics.
Are you talking about Olympic weightlifting?
I'm talking about it says powerlifting Olympics. Powerlifting is a straight sport that and it says it says that it's an Olympic sport.
And is it strongman an Olympic sport? Do you know what
Google does not lie. I saw it on the internet. It is not a lie, sir.
So if you're talking about skill, Jack already mentioned this earlier, but specifically, some would say like archery, right? Or shot put. You throw ball far. There's no team oriented. It's just like an exercise in skill and a single fucking motion. I say the amount of like the complexity for a lot of strategy games or just like FPSs, like the reaction time is literally like bonkers in terms of like being at the highest level. I'm saying if we can't have a structural reason as to why some like skill like events are okay and some are not, especially when we currently exclude other like skill like physical events, it doesn't seem to make sense if we're trying to like only do things based off of physically. And yes, like Lyra, you said like, oh, we have other competitions. There's already other competitions for all sorts of different sports. What I'm saying is they also get the Olympics. There's an Olympic weightlifting competition. There's like world championships every single year. They still have the Olympics. So if we're dealing with that, then we know that you can have outside event participations and competitions, but they still deserve a chance at the title. And I think that could be a great way for a lot of countries to get representation because it doesn't take a lot of time, energy, or money to have a team to play a video game as opposed to like say some of the massive like disparities in wealth between nations as like them trying to say like compete with the US in terms of spending. This allows lots of smaller countries
that argument can be transferred to so many different things. You could have Monopoly that.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. We have Olympic trampoline jumping. That's a thing. That's a thing that we have right now. So I'm just saying, like,
and that,
now
and
to
that
kind of maybe to steelman your argument just like a little bit. One of the big problems with adding an esport to the Olympics is that esports tend to change quite a bit over time. Season to season, new rules are added, new variations are added. So it would come down to like, what static form of a game do we add to Olympic esports? That I think is like a valid criticism, but saying that it's not like physically taxing or like mentally difficult or doesn't require skill. I think
it's not mentally difficult.
Also, Vadim gave a bald-faced lie. He said that powerlifting was an Olympic sport. It is not. You can easily Google it. Olympic weightlifting is an Olympic sport. Powerlifting is not. This motherfucker is trying to lie to chat. This guy.
Okay. So
move on.
Lyra,
Does not matter.
Lyra, please.
So like, there's a couple of things that I want to say. Because like, listen, gamers, I'm not even gonna make this an argument of like, oh, well, they don't have as much skills as this guy in diving has. Because like, listen, gamers have a lot of skill. But I do think that the Olympics should be like champion on athleticism. I mean, I guess there is still an argument out there that can be made because Oculus Rift people. Hey, what's the game? The Ring Fit adventure game that takes athleticism, but I would still put it in a completely different category than the Olympics. And I would rather have a purely video game Olympics. I want an Olympics of all different video games. I want the FPS there. I want some Minecrafters in there. Okay, I want some puzzle. Why not just have a whole new thing? And there are already video game competitions out there, and they're really pug, and a lot of countries do get representation in them. So why not just keep bolstering those video game competitions instead of shoehorning them into the Olympics? And
So
why is the Olympics
Have you guys
Look,
seen the Wizard?
Also, can I just say, I would rather get a video game champion from a video game competition than a video game champion at the line of Olympics. It's like it's weird. It's like having. It's like they're form-fitting two different things together. Why shoehorn them?
I think both of you were just on the wrong side of history.
Like, that is not a good argument. You're saying like these tasks are different. Like, I'm sorry. Tell me what's the same between, say, like Olympic wrestling versus ice skating. Like, yes, they're both physical things. You're both moving your body. No, you're both moving your bodies. But people.
Look, I've seen Fred Savage's The Wizard, okay, and that was it does not hold up at all. And you know,
yes,
like,
shooting
it would be humiliating. It would be a humiliating experience for the Olympics itself to include this. You do not want to do this.
Why
to
do
the
you
Olympics.
hate gamers?
Wait,
I love gamers. I love gamers. Gamers are patriots.
The single most premier competition.
Go ahead, Jack.
One of the big issues here with Lyra and Vadim, like, you're both coming off as like people who are just like, well, gosh darn, this newfangled contraption did no business being out here.
No,
like,
I'm not.
Because here's the thing. Like, the modern world is moving forward. As we go forward into the future, video games are going to become more and more prevalent, and we know that this is the general trend because ESPN is now broadcasting video game tournaments.
They do.
We know that eventually video games are going to rise to the point where they should get included in the Olympics.
You know what else is televised? You know what? Literally televised rock, scissors, paper. Should there be rock, scissors, paper competitions in the Olympics? There's an entire documentary.
If there's actual skill involved, sure.
Why are we putting the Olympics on such this huge pedestal? Why?
Wait, you're the two putting it on the huge pedestal.
Oh,
yeah,
it's too good for video games.
I want video games. I want powerlifting. I want strongman. All of it.
I just want athletics.
Go ahead, Lyra.
To be all these video game tournaments out there. Why do you think that they need to be a part? Why do they need the Olympic medal in order to be valid? I think they're much more.
Well, they don't.
Would you
that's
say
why
the same to a powerlifting athlete who does worlds, but they don't have the opportunity to compete in the Olympics?
It's also completely.
It's like, I could tell. It's like, hey Hans, I'm gonna get juiced up. I'm gonna fucking compete in like the powerlifting championships, and I want to compete in the Olympics. And they're like, sorry Hans, like we don't have it in the Olympics. Do you understand that like there's so many things that are just like seems like to be randomly haphazardly excluded? And if we can like put in these things that we can acknowledge are skillful, why not video games? Someone in chat already said this and it was really well said. Shooting is an Olympic sport. If fucking point click is more intensive, more skilled than like video games.
Got the mother of all arguments here, okay? It is incredibly impractical because if you put in esports, why not put in any video game? Why not put in Tetris? Why not put in every single game in existence?
See,
so therefore, you have an untenable situation there because there's no reason if you put in those games why you shouldn't put in Halo and all the other newfangled games that the whippersnappers are playing today.
See, I can explain this too. That's the steel man I was introducing earlier. That multiplayer games currently and esports games in general that are considered esports games change all the time. That's one of the major hurdles for it getting accepted in the Olympics because like water polo rules aren't really generally in flux. But if we did come up with a game that remained relatively static, I would be all for including that in the Olympics, especially if it was widely played around the world. And a primary, a good candidate for that would be like StarCraft.
Yeah,
which
StarCraft.
is huge literally around the world. It's literally why Twitch exists. It's literally why this platform exists.
But why again?
If we're talking about specific, if we're talking about specific
have-
games of chance, right? Whether it's like coin flip.
Video games. It'll be a lot more. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Hans.
So, thanks. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you either.
Hans, then Lyra.
So if we can, if we're trying to, let's say, exclude events on the purpose or the basis of skill, I think we're going to run into potentially like a simplicity problem that Vadim, like, again, he's like, he's taking it to the ad infinitum, saying like, oh, if this allowed, why not everything? You know, like if black people can compete, why not, like, you know, like dogs? Like people like make those same arguments, man. I'm just saying, like,
no, don't
let me
treat me
finish.
like that, man.
Let me finish. Let me finish. It's coming off. Crust is pretty fucking ableist. If we can't have a specific criteria for what thing is skilled enough to be considered an Olympic sport, there's tons of different Olympic sports with dramatically different, I would say, skill requirements. So like the skill for, say, like Olympic weightlifting is probably higher in terms of like technique than Olympic shooting. So like it's very easy to say, hey, these things aren't complex enough. So if we have a complexity argument, I'm fine with that. But if we can reach a certain level of complexity, I'm fine with cutting off some things like maybe Candyland, because that's entirely games of chance. But specifically for this.
So, wait. So are you against shooting in the Olympics, but for shooting in esports?
I'm for shooting in the Olympics. No, you didn't. What? You didn't get shit. Like, I'm for shooting in the Olympics. I'm just saying if that's the baseline for what's considered skilled enough, then I'm saying the majority of like competitive video games dramatically cross that threshold.
Okay, so let's go to Lyra, please.
Listen, everybody who is saying, hey, this is basically segregation, no, the fuck it is not. This is not like segregation. Are you crazy? We're talking about listen. And this is not, at least not for me. It's not, I don't have a stance of like, well, it takes less skill to play a video game than it does to do sports, because I don't believe that at all. A lot of skill goes into video games. And I also think it's silly to try to like measure up what skill levels and be like, well, this.
But I'm saying that was Vadim's argument. He was arguing that like these things like.
Well, I don't agree with that argument.
You know what? I'll make one argument in favor of including it. And that just occurred to me. If we included it, people would. They'd have to shut the fuck up about the whole trans women in sports thing when it regards esports, because there's just, I can't see any reason to include that.
They wouldn't shut up about it.
That would be.
They literally don't give a shit.
They probably wouldn't, but I can't see any like realistic argument against that. So that would be nice. So for those people to shut the fuck up.
I can tell you now, there's a trans woman in StarCraft. And she gets Scarlet, exactly, and she gets a lot of shit.
Go,
Lyra, finish your point, and then we can finish out with Jack.
Yes, I would like to finish my point. So it's like, again, with this whole, I will never stop saying this because I'm going to keep saying it. Why are we shoehorning esports into the Olympics when we could just give esports like an even bigger and an even better tournament that they already have? Because it's like the Olympics are like based off of physicality, seeing people in peak condition. And there are many other sports that should be allowed in the Olympics that are not in there too. But like esports, it's like you're form fitting it in there. Because like, listen, I do not listen. Police Academy, they have a gun shooting contest, but firefighters got aim too when they shoot it at fires. So should we put firefighters in aiming competitions with police? No, those things don't fit. And it's not even an argument of like, oh, well, it takes more aim to do this versus that. It's just that those things don't go together. And like,
are you just making an argument that like more skilled people should like do the like event Olympics? I agree with you. I don't know what argument you're trying to make right now.
My argument I'm trying to say is that you're form-fitting esports into a tournament that has been historically about physicality, being in peak physicality conditions. And video games are less about video count. They're more about
the original Olympics had no guns. Why are you shooting a sport?
Video games.
Okay, Jack, go ahead.
So one of the big things here is that when we're talking specifically about what is and is not in the Olympics, to kind of circle back around to what Vadim said at the very beginning, is that there are a lot of sports that people would consider like traditional sports that aren't in the Olympics currently. And the only reason they're not in the Olympics is because the Olympic Committee decided not to have them in the Olympics for whatever reason. We have underwater dancing, like art, like in the Olympics, and we have like break dancing in the Olympics, but there are other forms of dancing that aren't at the Olympics. And so like what is and is not in the Olympics is largely arbitrary and decided by the Olympic Committee. It has nothing to do with the physicality. It has nothing to do with the skill. So when we're talking about what could be in the Olympics, literally anything could be in the Olympics because it's an arbitrary decision about what is and is not in the Olympics. When we're talking about video games specifically, when we're talking about the physicality of playing video games, I can tell you, as somebody who's worked with a lot of people with extreme disabilities, because I worked as a video game journalist for a long time. So I've interviewed people who have a lot of disabilities when it comes to gaming. There is a degree of physicality there, and it does matter, especially when you're talking about like high levels of competition. If you're like over the age of 35, your reflexes are too shot to play these games against people in any like world level competition. Like when you're talking about like the physicality, it's there. It's just not the kind of physicality that you're used to seeing. So I think that like saying that doesn't
really
exist
go on this
is
long
really
after
just speaking to the fact that
I know.
it's really just speaking to the fact that you can't see it.
You're gonna be end of the world as we know it.
No.
So, everyone, we've reached the end. We will have our final vote on this. We're on a final vote. And remember, of course, after this, we're going to have our open walk-on panel right after this. But we're going to go into our final vote. So for this vote, you're going to be voting who wins. Okay, who is winning? Not who goes on to the next round. This is the final round. So you're going to vote for who gets the crown. It's in your hands, not my hands. It's completely in your hands. Who gets the crown? So now's the time. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes on the clock. There's a link in chat.
Let's go, gamers!
Everyone, I forgot.
You guys are gonna regret it when
30
esports
seconds.
Gamergate occurs.
30 seconds each.
Gamers, rise up!
30
I was a video
seconds
game
each as
journalist
to
during
why
Gamergate.
you want to
They
win.
can do their worst.
Oh my god. 30 seconds why you want to win. Right now. Hurry up. So people can, because they're voting right now, so.
Yo, everyone, Hans, obviously, gamers deserve rights. Gamers deserve representation. Gamers deserve to be at the fucking Olympics. Every gamer in chat, I see you, I am you, I am a gamer. We will do this. We will take this to the end. We will not stop. We will not be bested. We will not let this boomer or this person who doesn't respect video games to be the champion. We cannot allow this, and I'm sorry, Jack.
And that's why you should vote for me.
Anybody. I am here for the gamers.
This is post debate. Like this should not be allowed.
Okay,
Come on.
Now it's your turn, Vadim. Why should people vote for you? Why should you be the winner?
Because I'm kind of cool, and I don't know. Like I think I brought up some good points. I'm wearing a Nina Simone shirt tonight. And I don't know if you can see it. I happen to like it a lot. I really don't have. You know what? Vote for somebody else. I don't care.
Okay.
It was just a pleasure to be here. And thank you. Thank you, Prime.
No problem.
I didn't have a speech prepared. I didn't realize I was going to need.
That's cool. Don't worry. Riverboat Jack. Why should you win?
I should win because I am elegant and articulate, and I've made the best points consistently throughout this panel. And frankly, I came here to right the wrong that was done to me last week. I have clawed my way up to the top of not just one, but 2 PrimeCayes Royales, and I will get on the Dylan Burns Hippy Dippy Royale and take him down on his home turf.
Okay.
And I need your help. Vote for me because I'm right and gamers rise up. Vote for one of your own. Look, I have video games. Look, Wooloo and Mareep, they're dating in my window. Vote for me. Do it. Do it. You know it's right.
Lyra, why should they vote for you?
Okay, I'm gonna give like a closing statements and also a vote for me point. It's like, listen, I totally agree with the stance that what goes in and what stays out of the Olympics is totally arbitrary. But why put esports with the corrupt boring ass. I don't even like the damn Summer Olympics. Why even put them with the Olympics? We could give them a bigger and better tournament that has less corruption, okay? Less assholes in it, less transphobes there, less sexist people there. Give them their own tournament and it'll be bigger and better than the Olympics. Why put them in there?
Hey, don't let the
Like,
transphobes win. Let's get video games in the Olympics.
So
okay?
I think
But the Olympics suck
I think that's
anyway.
fascinating.
But hey,
So
I just wanna
Lyra's
say-
answer was like, "Oh, I'll have my own Olympics, and I'll have blackjack
We're in a
and
single
hookers."
digit
Blackjack and
difference.
hookers.
People choose
We'll have
bonds.
We'll have
This
shooters,
shirt, I'll
we'll
rip
have
it off if I
bubble
win.
games.
I'll bust all the fucking buttons.
Shut up,
Let's do
Hans.
all the
It's
games.
Lyra's turn. Go ahead, Lyra.
Yeah, let's just have our own Olympics because if you put them into Olympics, they're going to take this.
Why should you win, Lyra?
Oh, sorry. Hey, honestly, I'm so happy that I made it this far to the last ride. I was not sure how I would be doing in this panel. I was very worried to come on, but I'm just very happy that I made it to the final round. Honestly, please vote for who you think best deserves it. Because I wouldn't want a pity vote. I would want to win because you guys thought I did very good. And honestly, I'm on a panel with a lot of talented and smart people. I mean, I would love to win, but hey, don't feel obligated just because I'm new. But it's been an honor to get to this last round. And hey, I mean, vote for me if you want to. But I'm just happy to be here, Jack.
And the other
Yeah,
thing is that
you know what? I agree with Vadim and Lyra. Don't vote for either of them. Vote for me.
So, I think
She's trying to do the centrist shit. She's reaching out. No, gamers, we must be strong. Vote me.
And to
End our oppression.
And to your
Get us into the
argument,
Olympics.
To your argument, Lyra, I think video game competition is exactly where you find transphobes. I feel like that's like the concentration of transphobes.
I mean, yeah, but the transphobes there have less of an argument than they do. I mean, they really don't have that much of an argument.
Their arguments are bad everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But it's like, what can you say about video games? Everybody can play video games, so they sound even more stupid when they argue about it.
Because they become anti-women arguments is what they become, right? So, like for instance, that Scarlet woman, who's part of StarCraft, is a StarCraft player, right? People was like, oh, hey, see, there's a woman who's competing high level, and like, well, she's trans, and so actually,
I have a question for these esports that like men and women compete against each other, right? Like it's not Are we mute now or something?
No, why?
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I see Prime talking. And,
I wasn't talking.
Okay. You know what? I'm looking at the Twitch stream. No wonder. But yeah. So is that the way that esports works? That women go up against men? Like is it?
100%.
Oh, that's actually cool. I changed my mind by virtue of the fact that it would be the first male female where everything is kind of like on the same level. I don't know. That's interesting to me. I don't really change my mind, but that kind of brings me over to things. But I do want to say one thing real quick, which is, yeah, I got further than I thought I was going to get, especially since I had no time to prepare and I've never done one of these things. So thanks for having me. And I get the feeling, I just have a feeling I'm going to come in last. And in spite of that, I feel like I'm walking away a winner. So
okay. Well, that's great. That's great. That's a good attitude to have. So, hey, you're walking away last. But
oh, I did. Okay.
No, I really appreciate that. So we're doing this. Walking away last. Vadim, but we definitely appreciate you being here, buddy. We appreciate the love that you've had for this channel and this community. We love having you here.
It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot when these things happen every now and then. So I'll be better next time, if it's in this one or if it's in the Hippie Dippy show or what have you. So whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So should I say goodbye now?
There's only one. No, hold on on that. There's really only one show. I don't know what the other thing you're talking about. There's this show. I don't know if there's another one. It's weird. But anyway, just kidding. I'm messing around.
Oh, okay.
Next, we have Lyra. I think you were amazing. Look, you made it all the way to the final round. LSP has never made it. He's been on there like 5 times. He hasn't made it here. So you have once again bested him, and Isn't that the greatest present of all? Beating LSP.
I'm incredibly flattered to have made it this far. Honestly, I'm just so happy I made it this far. It is honestly, it's been an honor, like being on this panel with so many well speakers. I had a good time. I enjoyed myself through and through.
Okay. So when I refreshed the page, it was a tie between Hans and Riverboat Jack.
Oh shit!
To anyone else, right? I'm gonna put. I don't know what it is now. I haven't refreshed again. I'm gonna put 1 more minute left on the clock. Right? 1 more minute on the clock.
Oh shit!
So 1 minute left, guys and gals and non-binaries, all of you. Now's the time to vote. Now's the time to vote.
Wait, shouldn't Lyra and I be the deciders?
Nope. Now's the time to vote. Vote for the winner here. Which one you want to win? Lyra. Excuse me. Well, maybe Lyra. But vote for whoever. Vote for whoever. Look. You guys be the tiebreaker.
No, vote for me.
No, vote for me.
Go.
Jack,
Vote
let me have this.
Throw your vote away.
Give it to me.
Vote for me, okay? Look, I'm a trans woman. I'm disenfranchised. I need this win. Give it to me. Give me the win.
No,
I deserve it.
I need this win. I can't stream because I'm so busy with work. Please, like, help a small streamer grow. I'm so close. I hit 420 a night. You can make my entire night, everybody. Like, please, like,
If you
from one gamer to another, please. I also give me this title so I can fucking rub it in Kyo's fucking face. Like, please, please.
Nope.
Okay, I'm refreshing. I am refreshing. And
not fair.
The votes
she used all her fans.
The votes are in. And second place goes to Hans, and the stream queen is River. Vote. Jack. She has done it. Oh wow. Oh man.
Gotta love the stats.
Gotta love it.
With the stats.
Congrats.
Riverboat Jack, #1. In our hearts and also in this game. Riverboat Jack, take your victory lap right now. For everyone to see.
I don't know what you mean by take my victory lap.
Say something. Say something amazing.
Oh,
inspiring.
okay. Look, I fought hard for this victory, okay? I have come on this panel time and time again, fighting my way up to the top, only to be blocked by the dastardly Dylan Burns, okay? And now, with this victory, I am one step closer to defeating him. Now, Hans, you were a worthy adversary, truly putting up more of a fight than I thought you would.
I get all the good arguments.
Your muscles,
you're coasting on my coattails. That's
your
why
muscles,
I get it.
Your muscles are unparalleled, and you should be proud of them. Okay, Vadim, it was an honor to actually meet you. I love your content. I've watched it for a long time, and you're very talented, and I think you're really funny. And Lyra, you're always delightful every single time I've talked to you. So thank you so goddamn much for being on this panel and making it a fun time for me. Even though you have a bad opinion when it comes to the Olympics and
Prime, I pulled ahead.
Too bad.
Too bad. That's not how.
Bullshit.
That's not how that works. Look.
Hey,
all
right, so the people's champion needs to talk. So I'm being taken down by this corrupt establishment. I will not stop my fight. I will not quit. I will not allow myself to be silenced by Prime and his arbitrary times for voting margins. If we could, instead of one, if it had been 2 minutes, it would have been me. I had Jack on the ropes, and the ref came in to save her ass. So everyone, next time, you need to know that it's me who is not just the actual champion. I am the people's champion, and they will keep me down. They will lie to you. They will say that it was Jack who won. We all know.
You know, Hans, there's such a thing as being a graceful loser, and you're not being that right now.
So, how are we supposed to do that, man?
Okay, all right. So,
recount.
I'm going to give an outro to all these wonderful people, but then we're going to stick around everyone, because the stream is not over.
I'm still ahead.
The stream is not over. Doesn't matter. No one cares. The stream is not over. We're going to continue on to our open walk on panel right after this, so stick around. We still have more content for you, so stick around. First, hey, it's Vadim. Please tell everyone where they can find you.
Sure. I want to thank everyone who participated, everyone who's gone. I think everyone here was just delightful, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Hans, you're hilarious. Riverboat, you're super sharp. Lyra, you're super sharp as well, and I'd love to see you do a solo on that rad ass bass. Yeah, you can find me. I will put it once again in the chat at Hey, it's Vadim. I have a current video on Tim Pool, which I think is literally the most damning Tim Pool video of all time. It's not just a dunk. It goes into kind of like the just really the horrible ethics and the ways in which he weaves his narratives. I'm very proud of it, and there's going to be a part 2 of that, so that should be up pretty soon.
I have a question. Is it more damning than the content that Tim Pool actually puts out just himself?
Yes, because I found things that he actually deleted years ago because he was highly embarrassed by them that make him look horrible. There was a huge reason why he did that, and I dig up a lot of like honestly, I have people who are like Tim, who hate him, who are like aficionados of like just loathing the man, who have written me and said, you have literally made the best Tim Pool anti-Tim Pool video of all time. I had people who I had like literally like over 5 people who have worked with him over the course of his career, and that's actually a lot of what I'm putting in part 2, because I've got like all this stuff. Like I have footage that he never released that people were like, what? Check this out. This is fucked up, and like it never been on the internet. So it's something that I think you should highly anticipate. Mark it in your calendars. Tell your moms, your dads. And once again, I want to above all thank Prime so much. He always I always have a fun time when I'm on his shows. And yeah, thanks guys. You guys are all awesome. You guys in the chat, I mean, as well as these lovely folks right here. So other than that, I guess, oh yeah, you can find me also on Twitter at Hey It's Vadim. And by the way, in case you were wondering, it's VADIM. Hey It's Vadim. And I'm just gonna say hey in the chat. It's spelled like that on Twitter. So there you go. I'm done.
Thanks so much. Honestly, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the kind words. All right, next, we'll go to Lyra. Lyra,
yes,
this was great having you on. The crowd did love you, so like they were throwing roses at your feet literally the entire time. Everyone's such a big fan of you. So we're really happy that you spend time here. You know, you could take your popularity on the road, but you're here with us, so we really appreciate that. Lyra, tell people where to find you.
Yeah, it was so sweet to see all the support coming from chat. It was so awesome, and I'm just truly happy that I didn't think I would last this long. So I'm very happy that I got to the last round. But I'm going to keep improving, because I do know I still have a lot of places that I can improve. Riverboat Jack, it's always a joy to either see you on the panel or be with you on the panel. I still think you're giving way too much credit to the Olympics, but I love how you always argue your points with like logic, ethic, and stats. Not a lot of people could hit all 3. So it's always such a joy to see you on panels. Hans, you're so funny. It was so enjoyable to have you on the panel. I'm totally going to follow every single person who was on the panel. But like, Hans, you're so funny. I love all the art in the background.
You like my Dragon Ball? I have Starry Night, and then I have Goku and Vegeta holding hands.
I do.
I've been loving them too. Hold on. I'm gonna. I gotta blow that up.
My stuff, friends.
Wrong one.
Look at him.
Wrong button. Hold on.
You just seem so cool, Hans.
Go ahead, keep going. I just screwed my screen.
This is the best part, Prime.
Oh God.
Wait. Back to Lyra. I'll have my moment, Prime.
Okay,
Please.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm the star. Okay. But I was just gonna say, Vadim, it is truly an honor to be here. I was just like, whoa, a celebrity. But it was so cool being on the panel. And I was just like, oh, look, we're agreeing on these points. And so I'm just starstruck every time I come on these panels. I just feel so like, I'm just overjoyed to have been here with all of you. All of you have been super amazing to be with. And I hope I get to be on more panels with you guys in the future. And I get to hopefully see you guys in the future.
Well,
but thank you so much for having me.
If I have anything to say about it, absolutely will. Okay, Hans, back at it.
All right. Wait, come in on me.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Hey everybody.
Right, fine.
So I made a promise that every round I survived, I would undo a button, and we all know that the People's Champion won this round. So everybody,
Hey Hans,
let's fucking go!
Hey Hans, I'm beating you in the poll though.
Ready if you're ready. Everyone, I'm gonna be back. I will not give up the fight. We will not be silenced. I will not let this be the end of us. It is not the end of me. It is not the end of gamers. It is not the end of any of this. I will be back for the title, for that throne that has been denied me. And I will not stop until I am the last one standing. So everyone, hey everyone, my name is Hans. If you like my stuff, I do news and I play Pokemon and I do fun stuff like this. This is the second time on stream I've torn off my shirt. It's becoming a random thing. I'm running out of shirts. So if you want to help a brother out, sub to Prime, sub to Riverboat Jack, sub to everyone else. I have an awesome, fun IRL job that supports me really well. So I only would love your follows. So you can watch me on my journey coming back for that title. It's Rocky 2, bitches. We ain't stopping yet. Let's fucking go! Keto-san, you ain't got shit on this! Let's go! Good night, everyone. I love you.
Hans, you really need one of those Chippendales collar bow tie thingies. Just a suggestion.
Or like snap clothing.
I think it would complete the look. I'm sorry, guys. Just saying.
Riverboat Jack, your final, could you tell people where to find you?
Hey everybody, you can find me over on twitch.tv/riverboatjack, where I stream Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Central and talk about politics. I'm a socialist and I talk about decommodification and workers owning the means of production and stuff like that. Also, Hans, I'm now the People's Champion. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you rigged it. Everyone, they saw it. The rigged establishment saw what happened. They saw me pull ahead, and then Prime wouldn't let the numbers come out until they fixed them in the end. We know this is not what's happening. We know who the real People's Champion is. We ain't gonna stop.
Okay, where those voting machines come from, I wonder. Yeah, right?
Yes.
So
Hugo Shop is ghost.
So
somebody's watched a lot of wrestling. I'm not exactly sure who, but
okay.
I actually don't do any wrestling. I really like anime. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, okay. Well, the reason you should have won. You should have said that. Then I might have voted for you. I voted for Lyra. Just for but everyone, thank you all so much for being a part of this. To my audience and to my panelists, any of them are welcome to join us in our open welcome panel, which is happening right now. I know any one of you is welcome to join, but if not, that's okay.
How do you? Can I ask this just real quickly? How do you join that? Because I'm such a boomer with this stuff that what do I do? Just stick around?
Yeah, just go into the excuse me. Go into the waiting room. And then in Discord, we won't be using StreamYards. Just go into the waiting room there, and we'll pull you in soon.
Would it be possible to join in 20 minutes?
Sure.
Because I should take care of eat something. Cool. Well, I'm gonna go right now. It was lovely again. All of you guys are just the top tippy tops, as Mr. Trump says. Okay, I'm going. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. You're really cool.
So for my sign off, all of you are welcome to join, like Vadim. But if not, that's okay. Thank you for spending your time, your energy, your passion, your knowledge with my community. I'm sure they appreciate it just as much as I do. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.